right. Welcome to episode 24 of the Super Magic Show. Been doing a lot of these lately because people really want to talk about Dragon Ball, specifically Daima, because it is now being talked about way more than ever. We're approaching the last episode this Friday, the final episode of Daima, and there is a lot to cram in. And I want to talk to y'all about that today because some people I think are going to have very high expectations of the last episode. And there will be, I'm sure there's going to be great stuff in the last episode, but there's going to be things that need to be addressed that are probably not going to get addressed because it's only going to be a regular sized episode. If it was like a 40-minute episode, you know, like other shows have done where the finales have been longer, then I'm not worried, but it's not. There's not a lot of time in the episode to really tell everything. But Sheeta's coming back, so it should be good. Anyways, we've already got like a super chat that came in. I'm going to bring my guest in just a minute. I'm very happy to have him back. I'm going to address this preemptive super chat here. He says, 227 bunch of numbers says, calling it now. Dragon Ball ends with Goku making clones of himself, one for each of his forms, jumping Frieza Beerus. Wacky. Also, what are your thoughts on Sailor Moon, given that it took inspiration from Sentai? Sailor Moon's one of the first anime I've ever seen. And I did like that show when I was a kid, and I haven't seen it in a long time. But I did like it, and I'm thinking about revisiting it again soon because I want to see it. I didn't see that Eternal shit. I just saw the original. So let me go ahead and bring back Black and Fist. Yo, you're live.
Hello.
Beautiful friends. All right, There we go. I was about to say, hey, but so you were on the very first Super Magic show. We talked about Dragon Ball music. By the way, I have to tell you a story that you probably didn't know about. So yesterday, I'm streaming Dragon Ball Z on Twitch, and this very peculiar username pops into Twitch right now. I think you're going to instantly get it. You will, but some of the people in the chat didn't, and people watching now probably didn't. So I'm streaming Dragon Ball Z, whatever. This guy comes in and he goes, "Do you like the Falconer dub?" And new guy, never seen him before, right?
I do.
No, I know you do, but I was also
there is no Falconer dub, but whatever.
Yeah, the Falconer music in the dub, but I was streaming Saiyan Saga, which he never did.
Mm-hmm.
So I see the guy's name and it's Cake Mix 999, and I immediately go, "Bruce, is that you, bro? Is that you, Bruce?" And I told everybody, I was like, Cake Mix Studios is the name of his studio.
Yeah.
I highly doubt. I was like, unless you're a super duper fan, you don't know that. And the guy never said a word for the rest of the stream, dude. People were tagging him and everything, bro.
I'm surprised. I mean, if it was Bruce, that'd be very
I don't know
surprising.
if it really was, but that
was if
Cake
it was,
Mix 999.
It'd be surprising considering the history. I'll just say that, you know.
Maybe he's stalking me, bro. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. And then is the leaked images going around about Vegeta SS4 true now that we got Goku SS4? Don't believe any leaked images. I said this last week, saying it again. There's going to be more coming up this week. Don't believe leaked images, man. I knew they were going to come out. You guys knew. Come on. If you've been in this fandom for any number of time, any time, there's going to be leaked images that are fake. So it's just how it is, man. So
it's happening forever.
Bro, going back to like the 2000s. Super Saiyan 5 might have been one of the first viral leaked images that wasn't real because people thought that was real. Like Dragon Ball was coming back with AF and shit for a while. So let me ask you a question about Daima. When we first got together on stream, it was a week. It was the week it was starting. Now that we're at the end, what are your overall impressions of Daima? Do you like it? Are you disappointed? I feel a mix of emotions with Daima. What do you think?
A mix of
You've been a fan your
emotions
whole life.
is the correct. Well, at least I feel the same way. Of course, I think Daima's good. I like it. However, I think to use the most accurate term, and this is just genuinely my thoughts on it. At the moment, I feel underwhelmed, and I feel like almost wrong saying that. Because Daima, in many respects, in almost every respect, you could argue, is better than Super. Aesthetically, I mean, it's way better than Super.
Yeah,
there's
aesthetically,
no question.
Animation-wise, it blows it away.
There is absolutely no question. But I think that part of the reason why I think that I'm a little underwhelmed by Daima might not even have to do with Daima itself. It has more to do with Dragon Ball as a whole in terms of the current trajectory that it's taken for the last couple of years in this new material, this new era.
Are you talking about the formulaicness of it? Because I was going to do a whole video about that actually.
Yes, like there's been multiple times at this point where I hear something new announced in Dragon Ball, and I want to do this quick because I know a lot of people when Daima was first announced. Not many people were excited about it, and it's not like I wasn't exactly ecstatic for the premise either, but I wanted to give it a chance.
Right.
However, there's been many times where Broly's coming back, Future Trunks is coming back, and quite honestly, when I hear that on paper,
nostalgia,
I am not really excited. Most people, when they hear those things, they are excited. They're like, oh my God, look, this guy's coming back. And I'm thinking, why aren't we doing something new? That has always, like, when Future Trunks first showed up in Super, that was my immediate thought. Now, I didn't shit on it. Sorry, I didn't crap on it.
You can cuss on the stream. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, the point is that when I heard Daima, like, to get to the point, Dragon Ball has been going back to the well several times. And with Daima, most people were saying, we don't want this, we want Moro. My concern was, we've already seen Goku as a kid. We've already seen him as a boy. We've already seen him turn back into a boy. We've done this twice already. And my concern really was the lack of vision, the lack of going somewhere new. And that's kind of, and maybe that's not Daima's fault. I like to say that if this show came out in 2015, I wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't feel this way. I'm pretty sure
it's a snowball effect. We're bringing back Trunks.
It's an accumulation.
Yeah,
like to the new form that Goku just got in the newest episodes. And look, it was hype. It was cool. I'm not gonna lie. But
Nozawa screamed her ass off, bro.
Yeah,
Sean's gonna pass out in the studio, bro.
It brought us some of the best Dragon Ball Sakuga that we had, and I feel like I'm being a curmudgeon, but I'll be honest. Like, Gohan is my favorite character.
Not in Daima.
I was not like really blown away by Beast Gohan. I was not, and I feel like with this transformation, yeah, it's gonna be hype. It's gonna be really cool, and it's gonna be cool to look back at it, the animation work from an aesthetic point of view, even in the future. But I feel like, what has this really brought? We're going back once again to the well, and I already felt like this even before Superhero, but I feel like transformation fatigue has set in for me.
Absolutely, I've been saying,
and I feel like I'm being overly negative. So I want to go to the positives. I feel like Daima has been, even though that's all like the negative stuff out of the way, I do appreciate that Daima, even though it went back to the well on a couple things, it tried something much newer. Because quite frankly, I'm not one of those people that would have wanted Moro or Granola. I actually want this injection of creativity.
You want Dragon Ball to evolve. Okay, exactly. I'm in the same boat as you.
That's exactly what I want. I want a new vision.
The big problem for me is, do they have somebody who can really, you know what I mean? Like, is there somebody there who actually has that, who can do it right? And that's the big concern. Is there someone who can do it right?
overall, yeah, with it went back to more of an adventure show with Daima, and I think that as an adventure, it did well. Okay, it did everything. It expanded the universe. We learned a couple things, and
More than a
it was
couple.
very reminiscent, of course, of like the very first story of Dragon Ball, the first hunt for the Dragon Balls, and
Yeah.
and
You're a big fan of those episodes.
the first hunt for the Dragon Balls is one of my favorite stories.
It's
in all
very
of Dragon
it's
Ball.
very different from everything else.
Yeah, yeah. And like some people have mixed feelings on that first story. I think, as well as I pointed out many times to you and anyone who has ever listened, Emperor Pilaf is one of my favorite characters. He might even be, so on a good day, he might even be my favorite villain. I really, really like those. I am firmly in the camp that I love those episodes. So
what do you think about Gomah being basically Pilaf with Jiren powers, or with Jiren's look? Because that's what Toriyama was going for.
I saw those similarities. Well, see, to me, I think Gomah was an all right villain. I wouldn't rank him up there with some of the upper echelon of Dragon Ball villains, but to ask him to compare, you're asking almost the entirely wrong person, because I love Pilaf.
No, I know, but I
absolutely love. So if you ask anyone else, like, oh yeah, you saw the similarities between Pilaf, they might even say they like Gomah. But to me, dude, I love Gomah doesn't compare.
I understand. No, and that's why I love you, bro, because you're a different type of Dragon Ball fan. You have similarities to some of the fandom opinions, but you're also an outside the box thinker when it comes to Dragon Ball. And so and we've talked about that. Whenever I get somebody new into the series, I always tell them the first arc, the Hunt for the Dragon Balls, is very different from the rest of the series. Yeah. If you're looking for like the serialized action show part of it, there is martial arts action, there is a lot of fun, but it really doesn't pick up till that first tournament. But you might find things to enjoy if you go into it with an open mind. The problem is that, and this, people saw Dragon Ball Z, specifically Frieza and Cell, and that's their version of Dragon Ball. Now, I love Frieza and Cell. I love those arcs. But I think Pilaf is almost underappreciated. I think one of the things people have to do is look back at the fact that Toriyama started Dragon Ball just a few months after Slump ended, so he still had the gag manga mentality. And it wasn't until Torishima told him, hey, you should do more martial arts. You're good at it. And a lot of people need to thank Torishima, bro. Toriyama's one of the things I want to do, Juan, is I want to do a video on like underappreciated people, because we all love Toriyama. Everybody watching this probably has some kind of affinity for Toriyama, right? But he wasn't the only one that made Dragon Ball great. Takao Koyama needs respect, because he's the one that molded Dragon Ball Z to be the way it is.
Koyama is one of the biggest like you said, underappreciated dark horse. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Because Toriyama envelops everything.
Like everyone, the manga is the definitive version of Dragon Ball. But let's be real. Most people consume Dragon Ball. They're introduced to Dragon Ball through the anime. And
right.
Takao Koyama shaped a lot of what we see in that. In the movies, in the specials, and in the anime. He is one of the biggest minds. Of course, Toriyama is the biggest, but he is one of the biggest minds that shaped what Dragon Ball is.
Yeah, Kozo Morishita, and then of course the animation staff like Minoru Maeda and Nakatsuru, all these like hype scenes that people go nuts over. And obviously we have people like Forgotten Relics that spotlights these guys. But I would like to do a video, and I don't know if it'll get any views. I really don't know, on like other people who are important to Dragon Ball. Obviously, we've got Joji Yanami and Nozawa. Like, if there was like a Dragon Ball Hall of Fame, right? Toriyama's the first one in. Everybody knows that. But right behind them would be Torishima, Koyama, and Nozawa. And you know what? And you might think I'm crazy because I'm obviously more of a sub guy, but I would put Sean Schemmel in there, and Sabat, and Ian Corlett and those guys. Like, because everybody, I have respect for everyone who contributed to Dragon Ball. When Kirby Morrow died, Sean Schemmel called me on the phone and we had a really interesting conversation because a few years prior, Sean had an issue with Kirby. And then when he died, it's almost like that weird feeling when somebody, like when you go to school, and this has happened to me twice, when you get bullied in school, right? And then you graduate and some years go by and you find out the bully died. And you have these mixed emotions because you're like, okay, this dude treated me like shit, but I didn't want him to die, right? And you have this, and so, but in Schemmel's case, he felt really like he was very emotional over that passing. So I have respect for pretty much everybody who contributed to Dragon Ball. Maybe not Barry Watson, but almost everybody else.
I think even Barry. Look, he made mistakes, but I think even Barry Watson.
In a way. And even Bruce, like all the jokes we make about Bruce, like anybody who contributed to the series, I think, and in any language, I have an affinity for. We got a lot of super chats to go through, bro.
Sure.
Obviously we're gonna talk, you and I are gonna talk more because I gotta ask you about the Dragon Quest shit in Daima because you know that shit was my fucking Viagra, bro. That was my Cialis, bro. I was
a lot.
Bro,
Some of the designs look like they came out of like a Dragon Quest monster design.
Did you see how they snuck Zoma in there, bro? They snuck Zoma, bro. When I saw Zoma in that episode, I remember in my breakdown, I go, yeah, this episode wasn't that great, but who gives a shit because Zoma was in it? I don't care. That's like a dream come true for me, bro. I've wanted a Dragon Quest anime with Zoma in it forever. Okay, Vegito505 says, showing love been here since 2016. You made Dragon Ball more enjoyable for me, learning all the info you put. Can't wait for the next manga. I think he meant manga video because MAGA and manga are two very different things, especially in 2025, bro. So I think he meant manga. I've never done a video on MAGA and probably never will. But
maybe
manga,
on the World of Geekdom, man. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe, probably not. But what I'm trying to say is, and I do want to say this. Yeah, you said been here since 2016. That could apply to Juan as well because, you know, when I started on YouTube, the only people that were doing like Dragon Ball deconstructions, like not talking over gameplay footage or hyping up like the games, Black and Fist was one of them. It was him, Quaman, and Mister Fusion. There were a few others. Many of them are kind of retired now, but he was one of the ones that predated me. You and Quinn did the Birds and the Bees? Was that what it was called?
Yeah, what was it? The Birds and the Bees of Dragon Ball, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was such a convoluted. I always thought I thought it was a good name, but it was like a good name in theory, but a terrible name for like the algorithm. I always thought it, but I was like,
yeah, for the Super Magic Show, I just fucking put SMS. You could have put B&B or whatever because it's just, you know, yeah, for the algorithm, it's weird. Evan James says, Juan, Danny, glad to see y'all on stream together again. Love seeing y'all at KamehaCon back in the day. That was 2018. Would y'all rather Glorio been a twist villain or it sticks with Gomah? I like what they did with Glorio, bro. That's the Goku effect.
You know what? I kind of like the thing with Glorio is, you know what's funny about Glorio? It would have been more of a twist if he was a villain because for me, it was so obvious that guy was not a villain. I mean, he's talking to Arenzu.
Yeah, it was like he was supposed to be a villain, but
then
at the end, he did the right thing.
The intended effect is that, he's talking to Arenzu. He's obviously not trustworthy. He's a villain, but it's so obvious that he has ulterior motives for being with Arenzu. And quite frankly, I'll even say this. I wasn't even 100% sure Arenzu was going to be a villain, quite frankly. And
now she's kind of a tweener.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I was on the fence of whether she was really going to be a villain. And the reason why is because if you understand Toriyama, especially Toriyama in recent years, he doesn't write villains anymore, really. The only villain he's created, like a major villain, was Zamasu. Like Bierce really wasn't a villain. Like, I'm not saying these
Oh, you
guys.
mean like evil?
Yeah, I'm saying like just a straight out like Frieza, Cell,
Moro.
King Piccolo. Bierce is not a villain. Champa's not a villain.
Right.
Jiren
was an
Jiren's not
antagonist,
a
but
villain.
not a villain.
Broly in the end was not a villain. So if you understand how Toriyama does things, he doesn't really write villains anymore. He doesn't do that often. So anytime I see something coming in a Dragon Ball, something new, I'm already like, I'm already thinking, yeah, Glorio, that guy's not a bad guy. Even Arinsu might not be a bad guy. That's how much I've gotten to the point where Toriyama, I don't know, he has an aversion to just writing a bad guy. I mean, Glorio is a bad guy, but
now he's a good guy. Yeah.
I mean, well, not Glorio. I'm sorry, Gomah. Gomah is.
Well, do you think Gomah's getting redeemed in episode 20?
Honestly, he could be. Let's be real. Because I don't know exactly what will happen. I mean, he could go either way, but it's not off the table because that's Toriyama's track record. He is somebody who likes to redeem the villain or not even have a villain at times. So that's absolutely on the table. Although there's a lot of, like we mentioned it earlier, there is a lot of Pilaf in Glorio. And Pilaf really, in his heart of hearts, Pilaf never really was redeemed. I mean, he was such a silly villain that he never needed to be redeemed.
Right.
So, it could, and if Toriyama's following the Pilaf track, then he might not be, because Pilaf never was technically, even though he's around at Capsule Corp. He's not really redeemed, right?
He has evil intentions, but he seems to be content now living at Capsule Corp, which why wouldn't you be, bro? You're living with the richest family on earth.
Exactly.
You're getting pampered. Like, he's kind of living like a king. He's living like an emperor.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like
I did ask the chat to vote right now if you think Gomah should be redeemed or not. So we'll get their opinion too. Let me get this next one, bro. NN says, but the artwork looks so real and it matches so much Daima's artwork. The forearms look identical to SS4. If not true, how did they knew? Bro, it's not that hard to emulate Toriyama and Dragon Ball art anymore. I mean, let me take that back. It is hard. But if you're an artist who practices over and over and over again, brother, I could name you Griffin Station, Xavier Arts. I don't know if they're watching, but I shout them out. Even Dead Dark, drawing Dragon Ball characters. How many leaks have come out that have looked real, dude? Like, I'm telling you, just wait for the episode, man. Nath Dogs. I don't know if it's supposed to be Nathan Hot Dogs. Imagine if Goku smacks Gomah through the portals between realms, then instant transmits to Demon World 3 and Dragon Fists his skull, knocking him back out to Demon World 1. What do you think about that as a finish, bro?
If only, right? I mean, sure, why not? Why not do it?
It's so over the top that I love it. It's not gonna happen. A lot of people want Dragon Fist to be put into Daima, and you've said in the past you have been very, very, very positive about Wrath of the Dragon, about movie 13, because it is a very cinematic Dragon Ball film, and it's one that it looks beautiful. I mean, we could talk about how nice a Daima looks, but movie 13 has beautiful, beautiful models.
Wrath of the Dragon. I mean, like, I'm not
great movie.
Big spiel of my Wrath of the Dragon, but Wrath of the Dragon looks good. I think it had a lot of story and character potential.
The Trunks having a big brother thing.
Yeah.
Like Goten. I love that. That's the thing people don't understand about that movie. The whole thing about that movie is that Goten has a big brother and Trunks doesn't, and Tapion works as his big brother. Like, that is whoever, and it was Koyama, not whoever, but Koyama probably had help. That's one of his best scripts, I think, as far as character work goes.
Koyama.
Y'all got to watch Wrath of the Dragon again,
Koyama
bro.
truly is. I mean, some people don't like Koyama because they're manga purists, and that's fine. That's a legit opinion to have. But I really do think that Koyama, speaking of lack of vision,
he's written bad movies, but he's written good ones too.
Absolutely. There's bad things that come with Koyama, but speaking of lack of vision, when I was speaking to earlier, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Koyama was he had a kind of a mind to understand, because regardless of whether you hate, like, Koyama could produce lackluster work. That's absolutely true. But at the end of the day, I think Koyama understood Dragon Ball. And what was important was that he understood Dragon Ball, and he expanded Dragon Ball in ways that Toriyama would never have done. And an interesting, I would argue,
I'm so glad you're here, bro. I got to bring you on more often, bro, to school these people.
Yeah, in interesting ways. I would argue that Koyama was an overall positive force because it expanded what Dragon Ball could be, what the stories it could be. I mean, obviously, the best possible example of this is the Bardock special.
There are some people that just think that because, and I hate this, well, everything he wrote was non-canon because Toriyama didn't write it. But and this is that the canon cops. Just because something is not canon does not mean it's not good. And a lot of those movies are objectively good, fun stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're fun stories. Obviously, they were also limited. I mean, some of these movies were 40 minutes long. I mean, what can you do with 40 minutes? But I think he did a good job. I mean, a lot of people complain about the truncated nature of a lot of the characters. So a lot of the characters getting very simplified and reduced to several traits. And yeah, that's true. That's true. And it produced a lot of, like I said, a lot of lackluster work. But once again, you got to work within the limits that you're given. You got 40 minutes to make a movie. Like, what can you do, right?
It's
like
basically a longer episode.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that Takao Koyama, I've been recently feeling a lot more like this. I felt like this during like the superhero movie, but now even more so. I think there needs to be like a Takao Koyama type force, because someone who understands. Because look, we respect Toriyama, and I think Toriyama was an essential. Obviously, he was an essential part of Dragon Ball. But in the beginning days of Dragon Ball, Torishima was also one of the creative forces of Dragon Ball. Yeah, and a lot of people don't remember that, but like, he is probably one of the most integral people in creating Dragon Ball, like, besides Toriyama, because both him and Toriyama were the ones who were brainstorming this new idea when it was first coming about. And
Kozo Morishita.
And Torishima, yeah, he came from a different background. He was more of like a business marketing guy, but he came from a different perspective. And regardless of what you think of Torishima, he shaped what Dragon Ball was, and it was a different type of perspective, a different one than Toriyama. And I feel like a lot of the guys around now, maybe even Ioku, they don't have that different perspective. They kind of defer.
Yeah, Ioku is the guy who like brings stuff back.
Right.
But you know what's funny is a lot of the stuff he brings back is Koyama shit, like Broly. Broly, bro. Koyama's a Broly creation. Akio's like, let's rewrite his backstory. Toriyama did it. So,
well, anyway, the point is that, like, I think that we need a Koyama type guy, in terms of maybe not someone with those exact opinions. Is what I'm saying is they have a different vision. They understand Dragon Ball, but they have a different vision. They have a unique vision. And the reason I say that is just because I think that we can't keep recycling things forever. That's like, I think at this point it's exhausted. Like, what else could you really do?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
What else could you really do? So I think, yeah, like
I enjoy what they did with Super Saiyan 4, but I'm with you though. Like I from like, now that Toriyama's gone, I really want someone to get in there and shake things up. And I don't know if that's going to happen. And that's Shueisha's fault. Let me get this next one, bro. JD with the degree says they have one episode to do SS4 thematic justice. You know what I mean with that? LOL, with how they plan on defeating Gomah. Nioibo needs to be used to complete the Wukong theme. Copium. Yes. But you know what, JD? your idea that you had about Super Saiyan 4 coming from the Nyoibo would have been a nice treat to like wrap everything back to Journey to the West and Sun Wukong, even if it were a thing where Levi used his magic on the Nyoibo and then Goku grabs it and then he becomes Super Saiyan 4. Even that would have been cool to kind of go back to the real roots of the series. But, you know, Super Saiyan 4, the new version, looks more like an ape on purpose. Like, this is the whole point, is that this is tribute to Sun Wukong. I know a lot of people out there give Jordan shit for being the Wukong guy, but there is no question that's what they're doing here. Like, and it's not just a Toriyama thing. I think a lot of people misunderstand. They think that Journey to the West, well, Toriyama was inspired by it. No, bro, all of Japan is inspired by it, because Journey to the West, it's kind of like how we here in the West, right, in the actual West, we grow up hearing about, like, you know, like these fairy tales, like Snow White, not the new movie coming out, the original, but like Pinocchio, like these sort of fairy tales that we grow up with, right? That's like Journey to the West is like their fairy tale. So if you're a kid in Japan and you're studying, like we study like Julius Caesar in high school, they study Sayuki, like, and so the Japanese are just know. That's why when I did my video with the tingly back, there were so many assholes who were like, are you just coping, bro? You're just making excuses? No, I'm explaining to you how the Japanese learn things, bro. Their education system is different than ours. So, yeah, there's a lot of Journey to the West. I'm rambling, bro. I got to get through these as fast as possible. Robert Wolf said, to be honest, not a fan of Ioku. Has nothing to do with Daima, just mainly because he just recycles old ideas rather than bringing something new to the table. Also, he seems kind of just a yes man. Just me. He's definitely not a yes man, because he started a new company and he's competing with fucking Shueisha. You can look, brother. Look, you can say that you don't like the fact that he brings shit back. That's fair, but he is not a yes man. F. I wonder if he's resurrected. Is that new SS4 the Super Saiyan God? No, it is not. Super Saiyan 4 has nothing to do. The colors are the same of the ritual. Why no video about it? Okay, so check it out. This is, no offense, brother, but this is not this is you. This is not a Danny problem. This is a you problem. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why I say that. So let's go over here. All right, videos. Super Saiyan 4 transformation explained. If you watch this video, at the very end, I say, this has nothing to do with Super Saiyan God. Watch the content. Before asking me to do a video, watch the content. Now, I came here because I wanted to look at everyone's opinion about episode 19, and 83% loved it, 13 liked it, and then only 4% had negative opinions on it. And then over here, I'm going to get to this in just a minute, but Juan, real quick, man, did you like the last episode of Daima 19 that we just got?
How could you not? Like, I don't know. If you're a Dragon Ball fan,
not a fan service.
You're right. Like, if I really wanted to criticize, it would be like, it'd be hard. It'd be hard to do it. Honestly, it'd be hard to do it. But if I wanted to criticize, it'd be more of like what I said. Like, it's a really good. It's like an action episode. But if I wanted to get more grand, it'd be like there wasn't a lot of like going on with Goku's character or something like that. Like for instance, the gold standard for a transformation is the first Super Saiyan transformation. That is the gold standard, and maybe it'll never be topped. It won't be topped in terms of its significance in terms
of its importance, probably never.
It'll never be topped. But what I'm saying is that why was that the gold standard? Okay,
because it was unique for its time.
It was not only it's true, but it was because there was a lot more than just a transformation that was happening. So you see, that's the thing. Like, what makes transformation great? I still think the two best transformations in the series are when Goku goes Super Saiyan and Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2. And that's the reason why is because more than a transformation is happening. So if I had to criticize just a little bit, is this that there isn't a lot of that, I feel, in the new transformation that we have in Daima.
But visually, this one was out of this world, bro.
Of course,
out of this
take
world.
that away. So, but you're saying like that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to criticize. So I'm trying to come up with a criticism, right?
You don't have to.
So my criticism would be that perhaps there isn't a lot of that going on, and that's the reason why this transformation will not be remembered the way Super Saiyan 2 Gohan will be, or Goku transforming into Super Saiyan 2, because there isn't a lot going on there character-wise, story-wise, thematically, plot-wise. Because that first Super Saiyan transformation, there was a lot going back into that. I mean, I don't want to make this video, like this whole stream about that, but I think most Dragon Ball fans, it
was built up.
It was built up, and this one, let's just say there wasn't. Yes, it's cool, but it's like it's harkening back to something that already exists, which is Super Saiyan 4 and GT.
Right.
Yeah.
Angel Baron says, think the easy answer is Goku adult SS4 should be enough to defeat Gomah, but there's a fusion. Feel like Goku SS4 and Vegeta SS3 would make sense since it's a different type of fusion. Well, the fusion bugs are still waiting to be used.
That's another thing too. Yeah, like at this point, you know what? I'll be surprised if they don't use them. Like,
they will.
Well,
they're going to.
I know.
Yeah, it's just a thing where, like, my concern. I'm gonna actually talk about this now since we're on the topic. It's not about the action or any of that shit. My concern is, let me share my screen here. My concern is this right here. I wrote this on X, and I'm going to read it to everybody in the chat because I need you to really be aware of this. I wrote, some people think there'll be a memory wipe, others a dream because of the whole fitting it into Super thing. It could be that or nothing. Either way, because there's so much to cram into episode 20, I'm not expecting everything to be answered. Hopefully there's notes left behind for us to look at down the road with more details on things. They have a lot to cram into episode 20. They have to beat Gomah, who's the new Demon King. They might explain Super Saiyan 4. They probably won't. There's not enough time. They have to go back to Earth, wrap that up. They have to figure out what they're going to do with Arinsu and maybe even Degasu. I mean, there's just a lot. And then they may explain why Goku doesn't use Super Saiyan 4 anymore. They may not. The explanation that I came up with, that I looked at from the Dragon Ball Super Saiyan 4 transformation video, was the only explanation that makes sense. If they don't give us another explanation, then that's all we got. Now, Neva is so strong, I could see him wiping the minds of Goku and them so that they forget. However, I'll be honest with you, ending Dragon Ball Daima with it was all a dream or a memory wipe, that's two of the most irritating ways to end a series. It's very lazy. Like, there was a show, and I don't remember the name of it, I apologize, that did the whole it was a dream shit like back in the 70s, and a lot of people weren't happy with it. Now, there's ways you can do it to actually have it be cool. Like, for example, Roseanne did something really clever in its final season where the whole season was a dream. Not the whole show, just the whole season. You find out that certain characters died and that she was writing in her book the whole time. Sorry if I spoiled Roseanne to any of these anime fans, but the point I'm trying to make is I would not like it if they did like a dream. Well, how do you feel about that?
Something that a lot, I see this a lot. Like, people, it's kind of funny. People have been talking about how this fits into Super since episode 1.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
And something that I've learned already.
There is no canon, but go ahead.
Well, besides that, that's true. That's true. But besides that, something I've learned is that, quite frankly, they might not explain anything, and
That's what
they
I'm
don't
saying.
have
They
to.
might not give a shit.
Exactly. Something that I've learned is that the fans care a lot more about the continuity than
I
Toriyama,
have been
Toei,
saying
Shueisha,
I have been saying this for 10 fucking years,
and
bro.
see, like
They don't care.
it's something that I've delved into, like something that I've learned is that they they can always write something later. So they don't have to explain, like you said, they don't have to explain everything. Like Dragon Ball is so loose, and quite frankly, there's been some retcons, there's been some like so loose with how everything fits together. I mean, if you really want to think about it, Super and Dragon Ball Z or the manga don't really fit together if you really want to go
Super
into
has
all the
three
details.
cannons. Super has 3 cannons, bro. There's
Right.
three
If you really want to go into all the details, see, people that want to say this all makes sense and it's cohesive, they don't. They are. Let's just say they're missing some stuff. They need to look a little closer.
They're looking at this product from a Western perspective, not understand that the fans don't
And
care.
yeah. All I'm saying, and all I have to say to that is that I used to indulge. Like at this point, I don't really care. I'll accept whatever they like say, or if they don't say it, okay, fine. You know, maybe we'll speculate for a bit, and maybe they'll explain it later, right? Maybe like the next Dragon Ball movie or series, or in the manga or whatever, they'll explain away
Maybe
all
some
the
notes.
questions, right? Exactly. So you know.
Yeah. Now, okay, Child's Play fan says, I feel it's too short, but I hope Super circles back and includes the Demon Realm elements going forward. Also, Gohan was wasted. I don't know about wasted, he just wasn't used.
Yeah, he wasn't. And I'll tell you the reason why is because Toriyama. It's because Toriyama, man. Like I'm just gonna say, like to Toriyama, all Gohan is like, yeah, that guy's studying. That's it. Like he's not doing anything else. Like that guy's just studying.
Did you get to hear what Jay's theory was on Friday about why Gohan's not in the show?
I don't know about the theory, but the real reason is because to Toriyama, Gohan's just studying all the time. He can't even show up to a birthday party. All he's just studying. He might show up in the last episode. Who knows? He might make like a short cameo.
He might.
No, I didn't hear his theory.
No, Jay thinks that the reason as to why Gohan didn't go to the Demon Realm with them is because they didn't want Nozawa to overuse her voice, voicing Goku and Gohan, especially with the screams that we got in near the end. And she's 88 now. So his theory was that maybe that's why they. And I'm not saying he's right.
It's plausible,
yeah. He's the only guy I've seen say that.
That is, you know why I like that theory? You know why I love that theory? Because it actually goes into real possible. Like I kind of, when you go into like, well, Gohan is there because they have plans for him in the future. Basically, when like they're, to use a lack of a better term, when people have dork explanation, and look, I've indulged in dork explanations myself. I've a whole channel on it. You can go look at them. But the reason why I love his theory is because it goes into some real explanations for why Gohan. That's why I like his explanation, because it goes into some real explanations for why Gohan really isn't there. I like that theory.
I think a lot of people would have loved to have seen Stephanie voice Kid Gohan and Kid Goku in the same scene, talking to each other.
You know me, of course I would have loved that.
What do you think about the dub so far of Daima?
You know, I haven't seen it yet.
I'm surprised.
I'm waiting for it all to come out, and then I'll watch it.
I'm surprised. I really am. I'm enjoying it from what I've seen. I haven't seen the latest episode. Robert Wolf says Torishima is the Gary Kurtz of DB. That's George Lucas's guy. I don't know about that, but maybe he is in a way. Maybe in a way he is. Angel Barone says, but I don't think they'll use the bug since they fell out when Goku was on his way to the fighting stage that Gomah created. But then again, they did show the fusion bug. Well, he dropped the pouch. Somebody can just pick up the pouch. Maybe it'll be Hibis, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it probably.
There you go. It's probably Hibis.
What's this? JD says the most interesting thing from 19 was the Book of Magic. I knew he was going to say that, bro. I didn't even have to read the rest of the damn super chat to know he was going to say that. While its primary purpose was finding the third eye's weakness, it may have knowledge that could be dangerous in the future. Thoughts? Well, my thoughts are you should watch my fucking breakdown that I put out last night, because I say that I'm like, oh, this is like the Namekian Book of Legends. That means we'll never hear about it again. We'll never hear about it again, bro. As much as ever, I'm sure you want to read that book, bro, and learn spells and shit like Harry Potter. Thomas Ryan says, Gomah is Toriyama respectfully telling everyone that they should not have slept on Garlic Jr.? I don't know about that, because Toriyama had nothing to do with Garlic Jr. That was Takao Koyama.
I don't think Garlic Jr. and Gomah are the same.
Not even close.
No, they're
Except
not.
for the fact that they're small and they get buff. That they have alike.
Well, yeah, I get, but besides that, they're, like, character-wise, they're not the same at all. No. Gomah shares a lot more in common with Pilaf.
Yeah, I guess maybe because
they're played by the same actor in the dub. Maybe you're like, I mean, Pilaf and Garlic Jr.
Yeah, well,
right. Chuck Huber.
Chuck Huber, yeah. The guy who plays 17. I think he plays 17 also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sloppy Joe says, I love how SS3 made them look mean again. Yeah, with the no eyebrows, they do look meaner. We don't have a character after Vegeta to carry that fight spirit. DBZ Gotenks was so awesome, but he's a joke. Well, yeah, Gotenks is definitely not as serious as Vegeta. And Gotenks was like the goofy Super Saiyan 3, whereas Goku and Vegeta were like the more serious. YKA1, Gohan is the beast. Is Gohan the beast state of SS? Would it be a tier above SS4? I would put Gohan Beast far above SS4, but I'm not super confident in that yet. 2, would Gomah X God of Destructions want to usurp the throne, kill off Beerus and Shin? Well, I think he means would Gomah want to... I don't think Gomah wants to take over the Outer Realm. Based on everything...
impression either.
He just wants the Demon Realm. It seems like him and
Arizu maybe eventually, like once he's ruled the whole Demon Realm, and maybe he wants to take over the real world, whatever, the Outer Realm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think he just wants the Demon Realm. SCG Henry says, gotta ask, the name Glorio triggers my dirty jokes mind. Yeah, I said that the first week, bro. It sounds like Glory Hole. Stephanie Nadolny said the same thing. She called it Glory Hole in the studio and everybody laughed. So everyone thinks, Stephanie of all people, everyone thinks that's funny. Ijal Khan, or Lijal, I'm sorry if I fucked up your name. Daima has been a treat, not perfect, but a visual treat. Sad to see it go, mainly because we are unsure when we will Dragon Ball on TV again, minus the potential movies. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to get more anime, bro. And I'm not going to speculate on it because people will take me out of context and then fucking no. I'm not going to say anything. Diego Hernandez, I want to see Vegeta take out someone like he did Nappa, like the same technique. Like imagine he tosses Gomah and does it. When he throws him in the air, Quan, what was the name of that fucking technique? It wasn't Dirty Fireworks, right? It's got a name in the video
Dirty
game.
Fireworks is the one he used on Kui.
Yeah. Then what the hell's the one where he throws Vegeta up and then it's in the video games and I forgot the name.
Yeah. I don't know. I
don't know. Jim Slim, what do you think about Neva mind wiping them at the end of Daima, and then in the next arc of Super, Neva needs them again, so he unmind wipes them, giving them their memories back? I don't think I'd be against this idea. But the problem is, if he mind wipes them now and they end Daima like that, I'm going to be a little pissed off about it. Now, if they unmind wipe them later, cool. But until that happens, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? So
I think it's a very unsatisfying way to end a story, because it's a very, let's say, it's like a very sterile way of, so it's like you're doing all these things. It's a story within this wider story. So you have to fit it in and you have to make it make sense. And the best way to make it make sense is to wave your magic writing wand and you're like, now their minds are wiped and everything can go back to the way it was. And that's a very unsatisfying way to end it, because it feels like, well, that was pointless, right? You know,
Yeah, it's gonna piss me off if they do that, bro.
So yeah, like while it fixes the issue of making everything fit, it's from a narrative perspective, it leaves more to be desired if it really ends that way.
Agreed. Junior says, Juan, what's your favorite Dragon Quest track? Mine is Prologue 3 Symphony version of DQ11. Danny's favorite is Tornico's theme. Okay, I like Tornico's theme, but my favorite is Into the Legend and Heavenly Flight. What's your favorite Dragon Quest track? That's a lot to choose from.
That is very hard because I think some people know that I love the Dragon Quest soundtracks. Koichi Sugiyama is the greatest video game composer of all time.
Ever.
So if I had to choose one, which is very difficult because I've listened to all of the one main games, it probably would be Majestic Castle from 8. If I had to choose one,
it's like a fairy tale one. I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, like here's the thing, though.
The final battle theme in 8 though had the fucking Heavenly Flight remix. I love that.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that Dragon Quest has so many good songs that my mind could easily change. Like there is so much to choose from, right? So
yes,
yeah. If I had to choose one, Majestic Castle.
All right, no fair. Will Gomah be redeemed in the end? So we got 71% said no, 29% said yes. So most people lean towards no. I hope you're right. Creation B, thank you for the super chat. Go says, I love listening to people who know what the F they're talking about. Well, that's a very big compliment, brother. And there's a lot of people on YouTube who don't know what they're talking about, but we'll leave them nameless. Speed Punch says, it's always Shusha. I think he means Shueisha. Yeah, it is. Creation B, do you think Daima events in the last episode is the dream Beerus had in Super? No. Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God is not the same thing. The prophecy from the Oracle Fish was made forever ago, before the events of Daima. Like, fuck, dude. Like, why am I seeing this? The only reason people are asking this question is because of the hair color. That is the only. This is no different than when people were asking, does this mean Gogeta and GT was a Super Saiyan God? Bro. Okay, by your logic, bro, Launch is a Super Saiyan. Launch is a Super Saiyan then, because she goes from blue to yellow. Like, no, dude, it's not. It's not linked. They look alike because of the color. Yeah, but that's about it. JXV88, spoil it for me. No. We're not doing that, bro. Kiryu the Dragon Warrior. Koyama is a mixed bag. He has stated him and Toriyama have disagreed on things. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's still a respect there, though. But Toriyama has also said he liked Father of Goku. Yes, he did like the Bardock special, even though he did go back and change things. Saying the films are objectively good is incorrect, as a lot of them are reused ideas from Z. Nobody ever said they were objectively good. I didn't say that. Juan didn't say that. Nobody ever said they were objectively good. I said they were fun little adventures that people can watch and enjoy. That's all I said. There are some of them that are good, right? Objectively good, maybe a couple.
They're good for what they were.
What they were, yeah.
And look, yes, and like I said, like Koyama produced a lot of lackluster work, right? But you also have to put in perspective that these movies are like 45 minutes long. Like, what can you do in 45 minutes? And yeah, sure, like a lot of them I don't think are very strong. Like, I didn't think the Super Android 13 movie was particularly strong. I thought it was
I'm not a fan of the story of that movie.
And you're right. Like, a lot of these stories were basically recycling a lot of Z ideas. You're absolutely correct. But you know, that's what. Like, yeah, like sometimes Koyama, I think, sometimes it was lackluster, and sometimes I think that he used the most out of that 40 to 50 minutes. Sometimes I think he really, like, Bardock is one. I think Wrath of the Dragon's another one. For the amount of time, I think he used his time wisely a lot of times.
Yeah, he did the best he could, and you could tell that a lot of his good ideas were done earlier on. I mean, Wrath of the Dragon's good, and so is Fusion Reborn, but from like movies 10 and 11, not really the best ideas. Chase David says, I believe Goku will tell Nevata, I guess he means Neva, to take the power back because he didn't earn it. Well, that would be something Goku would say. Maybe, because he wanted Super Saiyan God. Also, maybe this triggered Beerus's dream, bro. It's going to be one of those streams where everybody asks the same question. I've gotten them. Juan, before we started, somebody wrote in the comments, they go, my prediction for this stream is that Geekdom's going to get at least 30 questions about how Super fits in with Daima. Because, bro, every stream I've done, people ask the exact same questions. Now, I want people to understand, I'm not upset about it. Like, I'm not mad about it, but it makes me laugh. Like, I'm smiling right now because it's like, dude, I get that not everybody can catch every stream, but I've been answering these questions now nonstop. Anybody who's been here for all the streams, you can vouch. I've answered the same question nonstop, bro. The fucking is Super Saiyan 4 Beerus's dream? No, it's not, bro. It's not. That's not. Yamoshi and Goku are not the same person. And not just that. People have continuously asked me why Vegeta didn't use Super Saiyan 3 and Super. And I've answered that in like 3 different videos and like 5 different streams. My first video back in September, when I first revealed he was getting Super Saiyan 3, I gave you an explanation there. And in my breakdown for that episode, I gave you an explanation there. So if you want that question answered, go to the channel, go to the Daima breakdown section of the playlist, and watch the breakdown from episode 12. Now, I recommend, and I'm not saying this because I need views, I'm saying it so that people are caught up. If you are watching Daima, I do recommend watching all the breakdown videos start to finish, because that way you'll have a full understanding of everything as we head into this final episode.
You know the real reason why Vegeta didn't reach Super Saiyan 3? Because they didn't think of it yet.
That's what Jay said. Jay said the same thing. Jay said
there you go. That's the reason. That's the let me burst your bubble. That's the real reason.
That is the real reason. That is the real reason. That is the real reason, bro. And like we talked about, the Toriyama and Koyama and those, not Koyama, but well, he would count, but these guys don't give a shit about canon, bro. YKA said if all they care about is money, a multiversal war with each fighter having an arc, maybe Roshi's death in DBS foreshadowed, maybe when they knew. I don't know if there's more to that super chat, but okay, there's been a lot of times where Shueisha and Toei could have made a lot of money and they didn't. And it's really annoying because if we want more stories, they want money. That's an exchange, and they haven't done it. Don't even get me started, bro. I ranted about this a few days ago. I hate Shueisha. 6TV says Gohan's not in the show because he was in the movie and got a new form, so they felt as if Gohan didn't need to be in there. And that's true.
That's true, but you also have to remember that Gohan wasn't going to even be in that movie.
That's true,
it was up to Toriyama. You have to. If it was up to Toriyama, Gohan wouldn't even be in Superhero.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Kyo was the one who was like, put him in there. But I think Toriyama was fine with it. I want to make this clear. Juan is not saying that Toriyama hates Gohan. That is not what he's saying. It's just that he doesn't think of Gohan as much as I think Gohan fans want him to think of Gohan.
Yeah, I don't think I think Toriyama views Gohan as a done character. Like, he's done. He's studying now, and that's how he views him. Like, he's a done. That's him now. That's what he's going to be, right, from now on. Like, I feel that's the way Toriyama viewed him.
Yeah. Robert Wolf says, is Gomah going to get trapped in the magic book like Crystalinda in DQ11? That's a reference right there. I don't know about that. What do you think about them trapping Gomah in a magic book?
You asking me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I mean, that's obviously on the table. I mean, the That's not completely out of the question because I could see like them trapping or saving Goma in some way for later. Like a lot of people are talking about how like some of these Daima elements are going to be incorporated into later Dragon Ball stories, and I
People
think that
want
will
that.
happen. Like that is most certainly, if Dragon Ball continues, which it will, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah, like it will. I assume that some of these Daima elements will absolutely be incorporated in to later stories, and maybe that one of those elements is Goma himself. Like Goma might be preserved in some way.
What they need to do, and I've said this a lot recently, I may do a whole video on it. In my opinion, the best reboot of an old franchise was not Dragon Ball. The best reboot of an old franchise was Cobra Kai. And that's because the three showrunners on that show grew up fans obsessing over the Karate Kid, and they respected and loved all the characters. Whomever should take the mantle for Dragon Ball, and I don't know if Toyotaro's the guy, because Toyotaro, to be honest, is not all that creative. It has to be someone who has respect for what Toriyama's already given us, respect for all the characters, and an affinity for Dragon Ball, while also coming up with new things for the characters to do.
It's probably going to be Toyotaro, though. Like,
I know. I'm just saying that I wish we had somebody like the Karate Kid, Cobra Kai guys to come in and like shake things up.
Yeah.
A lot of the fan shit, like I'm gonna be real, there's a lot of really terrible fan manga, but there's a couple that I think were like, hey, they should do this, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, this guy says SS4 Vegeta next. And by the way, my name is Mark Cosmos 747. Yeah, because I called him Marcos Mos instead of Mark Cosmos. I'm not going into leaks, bro, so possibly I wouldn't get my hopes up. Brandon says, I think episode 7 was the first time North American dub said key. No, they said it once before. When was Juan? I know they said key like once before. Oh my God.
I know in the video games they've said it.
Yeah, right. But in one of the movies they said it recently too, I think.
I know I wouldn't be able to pick it out.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like that, I know they said it at least once or twice. But usually it's just energy they translate it to.
Yeah. Like I know in the video games they have. So I don't know if that counts. So, but you know.
Yeah. Bluebird says third eye equals infinity power. Tien looking in the mirror. Yeah, he's his third eye's not as good as Goma's. Noel Ramirez says Goku gets his memory back. Super Saiyan 4 versus Black Frieza. People seem to want that, bro. Well, he hasn't lost it yet. JD says, question for both. Do you think the third eye should have had a more sinister influence? It should have had a trade-off. Would have preferred the eye rejecting the user like the Hogyoku with Aizen. I don't know what he's talking about because I don't know what he's talking about. But
I think that's something in Bleach, but I haven't seen Bleach.
I think I haven't seen Bleach either. I drink Bleach, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't. I've only ever seen like 30-something episodes of it. So
don't try this at home.
Not where Aizen is.
Okay. I think he's saying should the third eye like take over its user, sort of like how the evil power consumes you.
Yeah, like the secret of evolution.
I was just gonna fucking say like Necrosaro, bro. If you were a woman, Juan, I would fuck you. I'm telling you, bro.
Wow, okay. Well.
If you were a woman, no, bro, because I swear, no, listen, you don't understand. I swear to God on my mother and father's ashes, I was about to say like Necrosaro. And you said the secret of evolution, which is the same reference. In Dragon Quest IV, for you uncultured swine out there who haven't played it, there's a weapon called the Armlet of Transmutation that the villain wants. And when he gets his hands on it, he gets this huge fucking power up. Not that different from Goma, but because there's a lot of Dragon Quest in Daima. And but when that happens, you kind of lose who you are.
Yeah,
like you get consumed by all this. You get
consumed, and you're no longer yourself.
Yeah, it would have been cool. I wish Daima had more episodes, bro. Like if it was like 25, 30 episodes. They could have done more shit like that.
I don't think that would have been, I don't know, maybe that wouldn't have been appropriate because the thing about Goma is that, I mean, I'm not saying it's like a bad idea, but the thing is that like Goma is a very simple character. So in order for the idea of like, oh, you're getting taken over by a power and you lose yourself and you get corrupted, you have to have like a very set character. You have to have a very a very intricate character or a big character change. So for like Sorrow from Dragon Quest 4 is a good example. He had a lot of good intentions. It wasn't like he was
and he was mad because they bullied his girl.
Yeah, he was driven to a bad place, and then he uses it and like completely loses. So it's like a dramatic change for Goma. Like, what kind of dramatic change will there be? Like, what do we gain for Goma to lose himself? Right? Like, I don't think we gain a lot, right? Because Goma, at the end of the day, yeah, he's an evil bad guy. He's goofy. He's kind of like, now very kind of incompetent. But I don't think there's a lot of loss. It wouldn't be a dramatic change. I think not enough of it, for it to justify for the third eye to like completely lose himself and get corrupted. I don't know. That's just the way I'm thinking about it right now.
Bro, there's a guy in the chat who said the leaked golden SS4 ain't real, is it? What do you think, bro? What do you think, bro?
Maybe.
Ricardo Torres, what name do you think the new fusion bug of Goku and Vegeta will be named? I want to hear your guess. I never said it's going to be Goku and Vegeta fusing. I said the fusion is not what you think it's going to be. However, if I were to come up with another fusion name for Goku and Vegeta, maybe Kakata. No, that's horrible. Kajita? Like what was there another name we could use?
Dude, it's I was gonna say Veku, but that one's even taken.
That one's taken, yeah. That's taken, yeah. I don't know. Kaka, it would have to be something with Kakarot because Gogeta already exists. Vegiku? There you go, bro. Vegiku.
Vegoto? I have no idea.
That's Vegito, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. It might not be Goku and Vegeta. Junior says, Danny, where is this quote from? Fix it. I actually don't know. Also, who would you choose to be Nala and your Simba? Adrian Balboa, Mia Wallace, Tori Nichols, or Maria? Well, which Maria? The one from fucking the one from Mario Brothers? He's talking about Maria from Sonic, from Shadow's Maria. Tori Nichols. Tori Nichols would be my pick, bro. Or Tessa Fowler. All right, Starblast says, if they're still making movies with an anime running like during the time of Z, maybe we could have gotten a 45-minute movie about Yamoshi or Zalama. Sure, we should still get that, though. We're not going to. It's bullshit. Joe Mamba, thank you. Lone Wolf says, ever tried sushi? Oh, it's only my favorite food. That guy, bro, Juan, we've gone to sushi together, right? We went in 2016.
I mean, don't you have a video on your channel of us going to sushi together?
Bro, let me tell you, I can pound some fucking sushi down, bro. I can pound sushi down better. Yeah, Lance was there. We all got in the truck and shit. Oh, that's a good memory I unlocked. That guy, Biss, big fan here. I love you, Geekdom. I love you too. Thank you for your generous super chat. Means a lot to me, seriously. Joe Mamba, Geekdom, what happened between you and LSM? The fans need to know. Nothing, bro. Nothing happened. Blood Money, Lord Slug is slept on. That movie gets a lot of hate.
It's not
from
the worst
some
one.
People. No, it's not the worst one. There's things to like about that movie.
I think that, look, obviously it's not a masterpiece and there's a lot of things that you could criticize, but at the end of the day, I think that it's a pretty serviceable movie. I think there are a couple of them were worse. Like I think Super Android 13 was a worse film, right?
Yes, I do too. It has no
story. I think for what Lord Slug was, it was all right.
I think people just look at the false Super Saiyan and hate it for that. I actually like that scene.
Yeah, like you know, Toei was trying to get one over on everyone basically by like, you know, this is the Super Saiyan transformation here, and like if you want to go into the history, I mean, if you want to go like, I think Mr. Fusion made a, I mean, he's always made good videos, but he had a great video on that movie. So
Yeah,
check his
or
video
you
out.
can watch the fall Super Saiyan video I did, but that's
Yeah.
just about the form, not the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first started going on the message boards in like 2002 or whatever, I saw a lot of folks hating on that movie, and I was like, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best one, but
I mean, I wasn't around that far back, but even when I remember when I first got onto the internet, I remember Lord Slug was always derided. And one of the reasons was, oh, well, they just reused the same plot. Like, this was one of the common things was they reused the same plot from Piccolo.
which is true.
Which is true, but the problem is that, like we've mentioned before, a lot of the Z movies reuse and recycle plots from the series. So that's not really a unique thing about Lord Slug. So,
Right. But
again,
I do think
like one of the big aspects of these movies, because like I told you, there's not, you know, like you got limited time, is it, let's be real, like it's the way the action scenes are. How are they animated? How is it choreographed? And as far as action scenes are concerned, Lord Slug's pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I think he had some of the best action scenes in all the movies. Actually.
And Piccolo gets a lot of shine in that one, man. And that's, you don't really see that too much. Yeah, I have a lot of fond, maybe it's nostalgia, but I do have fond memories of that movie. Speed Punch says, Geekdom, we need Black Frieza now. Well, talk to Shueisha, brother. If it were up to me, you would have had that 2 years ago. Noel Ramirez, they could explain Vegeta going SS3 because it was the demon realm like Goku in the afterlife and Gotenks in the time chamber. But that's not what they're going to explain because Vegeta unlocked Super Saiyan 3 in the normal realm. Did you forget that when Vegeta did Super Saiyan 3 against Tamagami 2, it was not the first time that he did it? It was the exact same thing they did with Goku. When Goku first did Super Saiyan 3 on Majin Buu, that was the second or third time he had done it. He had already learned it in the afterlife because that Vegeta knew what he was doing. So you're thinking about it like Vegeta learned it right there against Tamagami 2, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Pale Gray 64. I would have loved if Neva's magic turned Goku into Golduzaru and Nioibo reminding him of Grandpa Gohan to be. I love that idea. Like Pan and GT Sun Wukong. Where's JD at, bro? I hope JD read that fucking super chat, bro, because Pale Gray 64 just out Wukonged your motherfucking ass, bro. Dude, I love that idea. Fuck. What do you think about that idea? He thinks about Grandpa Gohan and he goes back to normal again.
Yeah, I mean,
we haven't seen Grandpa Gohan since like the last episode of Dragon Ball 153.
Well, technically, didn't we see did we see Grandpa Gohan in Super in episode 130 when I forgot.
In a flashback, maybe.
Remember in flashback, right?
Yeah, but we haven't actually like seen him. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's off in the afterlife looking at girls or whatever.
Hey man, those last couple episodes of Dragon Ball, of Dragon Ball filler, were awesome. I'll say this.
Koyama wrote those.
I don't think there's one episode of bad Dragon Ball filler. There's some bad Z filler.
Yeah,
I'll say this.
Even the one with the green fox who wants the passport, you like that?
I even like that one. Right. As far the original filler in Dragon Ball is superior to the Z filler.
I agree with you. And didn't you say your favorite episode was the one with the fisherman or whatever, right?
Dude, I love that episode.
It's such a different episode from everything.
I love it. It made it like, first of all of Goku's training I thought was expanded a lot more in the anime. And I think for the better.
I like that a lot.
Okay, there's merits. There's merits to the way the manga did it, but I think there's some stuff added that I thought made it pretty an interesting experience in the anime too for Goku's training.
Well, going back in time and meeting young Master Roshi and young Sudu Senin and Mutaito, that's my favorite episode of original
I mean,
Dragon
dude,
Ball
like
filler. I love
that
that
training is
episode.
some of the best Goku training in the entire franchise. To be honest, now that I think about it, it's like some of it was filler.
And
It's
there
so
was still stuff that happened off screen, like Goku learning more stuff, the tail being
yeah.
removed. There was still stuff that happened off screen. When it comes to Dragon Ball Z, the best filler is probably in the Saiyan saga. I know some people like the Otherworld tournament because they like PyCon, and I get it, but bro, Gohan with the orphans, Gohan with the robot, like there's so much. Goku with Princess Snake, my all-time favorite filler episode, the funniest episode in Dragon Ball history. Like, and then let's not forget, even though it's not filler because it's not in the manga, but the baseball episode of Super has some very similar vibes.
I love that episode too. I actually go back to it from time to time.
That's my favorite episode of Super. My number one.
Hey, man, that's legit.
Julius Irvin, aka Dr. J, says, I just realized every arc since Dragon Ball Z until superhero arc, Dragon Balls were used to make a wish. I wonder if that was done on purpose. Well, no. I don't know, bro. The show's called Dragon Ball, so I don't know, man. Maybe it was. You know, I'll look into that for you. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Sly Rock says, if Toriyama viewed Gohan as done studying, then why would he have Goku in chapter 103 say he's his successor and the earth will be safe with him when he's gone? I think Gohan is now both a warrior and a scholar. No. Well, I want to say this. He has a point, but chapter 103 was also written by Toyotaro. Toriyama obviously helped, but it was a Toyotaro came out and said that he wrote those and Toriyama approved them and was okay with them.
I think,
however, but this question cannot be answered yet because it depends on what they do going forward. Because Gohan could be a warrior again for a little bit, or he could just go back to being.
Well, here's the thing: like, I absolutely think Gohan could be a warrior. I think that Gohan, like, if you go back to his character, I think you could absolutely write him to be one. He's not going to be like Goku or Vegeta, but he's his own man, right? He has his own motivations. He has his own way. He takes a different way. The reason why I don't think Toriyama views him that way is just because of the track record, because of the history.
No, I get it. You're right what you say.
Yeah, so I just don't see the evidence for it. Like, maybe
under Toyotaro he'll do it. You know, that could be.
Maybe in the future, maybe Toyotaro will reveal some things about what Toriyama thought, and maybe he'll reveal about what Toriyama thought about Gohan. I doubt it. Maybe that happens. I'm not, it could happen.
Well, what I mean is that with Toriyama gone, if Toyotaro is going to be taking over, if he'll be writing the manga alone, now he might do something with Gohan. However, did you notice that in the last manga chapter, it says written by Akira Toriyama? That was not written by Akira Toriyama. I have been saying this now for a long time, and there's motherfuckers who want to argue with me, and every time you do, you look stupid. The fucking manga is written by Toyotaro. When Toriyama was alive, he did help with it, and he did write the Granola arc, a lot of the basic manuscript. But month by month, it's Toyotaro, bro. And that's proof. How could Toriyama have written chapter 104, bro?
Well, Toriyama also, I mean, we don't know like the day-to-day of how it works, but Toriyama also looks over Toyotaro's work.
Right, but he's not writing every piece of dialogue.
Right. Well, the thing is, though, is that Toriyama, he had the power to correct. He had the power to probably
editing, veto power.
Exactly. If he really wanted to, he could probably tell, but he probably wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
But if he really wanted to, he had the power to tell Toyotaro to do it this way or that way. So, and who knows, right? Who knows what happened in like all their interactions throughout the years, right? Like, what if Toriyama ever put his foot down on something, or not, right? We don't know. We might never know,
Right, we may never know. Chambliz says Gomah kills Neva. His magic and Goku is gone. There's an explanation theory. That's That could be. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think some people think Neva's going to die. You know what? Let's ask the people. Let's ask them. All right. Do you think Neva dies in the Daima finale? Please vote. Do you think Neva's going to die? He's pretty fucking powerful. Let us know. Slyrock said, do you think we'll get UESS4 Vegeta? Not if we do, it won't be right away. And do you think it would be an amazing, insane sight to see? You must have me mixed up with one of them crazy Vegeta fans, bro. If Jay was here, he'd be fucking boned out. As far as that goes, an amazing sight to see. You know what, bro? If Shida or Takahashi are animating it, anything's an amazing sight to see. So, absolutely. Yeah, it's possible. James said Vegeku. Well, that's close to Veku, but that could work. I mean, it's...
Why not?
Yeah, why not? All right. Noel says Demaku, a demon fusion. Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. Madisha. I haven't heard from this guy in a while, bro. Hey, Geekdom, love your channel. I know. Where have you been? This dude used to always comment back in the day. Thank you for everything you do, Dragon Ball community. My question is, what is your worst and best Dragon Ball film? My least favorite is probably the second Broly movie. I do not like that movie. My favorite is probably Battle of Gods. Maybe Dragon Ball Super Broly. Those were really good. As far as the old movies go, I used to say The World's Strongest, but I've gotten a new love for Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. And that was Daima before Daima. Do you want to answer? I mean, I know what your picks are, but if you want to answer.
The worst one is actually kind of tough. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm beating up on it right now, but I just
Super Android 13 is the worst one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of problems.
It's just the reason why I'd say it's the worst one is because I feel it's so generic.
There's no story. It's a fight from the 10-minute mark.
Barely any story, and I mean, well, there's a lot of fighting in the others too. I mean, you could almost say that about all of them, but I'd say Super Android 13, and my favorite one, it'd probably be between Wrath of the Dragon and Broly. I probably would say Broly. Super Broly. The first Broly, well, not like Super Broly, not the first.
Yeah,
Broly.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super Broly, yeah, the one from 2018.
Yeah, second would probably be Wrath of Dragon, but they're very close.
What about Battle of Gods? Where do you put that at?
Battle of Gods, I would put it probably in the top 5.
World's Strongest is great.
I don't know. I haven't thought about this question in a while, but yeah, Battle of Gods would be up there. So.
Black Heisenberg, I'm buying Shueisha and making you CCO of Dragon Ball. Well, if you got the money, but it's not for sale, that's the problem. Yoon GX Non, Prime Neva versus Prime Moro with Hybis as a special guest referee in a Hell in a Cell, size of the Cell Games ring. Who do you think will win? That's a good question. Neva versus Moro. I think Moro would win because even though Neva has crazy magic powers, Moro was able to shut off God forms, and that's like something that even Neva couldn't do. So what do you think? Do you have a guess on that?
The same.
Could OG-73 be infused with the third eye? I think anybody could. As far as OG-73, people are still waiting to get an answer on that, and you ain't going to. Remember, the manga we haven't had a new chapter with a new story outside of like the 3 chapters we got in the one this year since 2022. KC, Majin Dooku for fusion. Also, wouldn't be surprised if Daima is another timeline. Yep, I hear that a lot. Ramez Mikhail, what up, Geekdom? Love Daima from start to finish. My biggest worry, looks like it's going to happen, is the cramming too much into the last episode and potentially rushing through it. I said this like many episodes ago with the Giants episode, how they wasted time. I thought like if you need to save more time for the final battle, and we've gotten a good final battle, but I have the same fear that he has. They're going to cram too much and we're not going to get answers.
It feels that way too. It feels like they there that necessary information is going to have to be maybe rushed.
I will say this, and I want everybody to understand this, to go into this with low expectations. I'm not saying it's going to suck, but if you expect to have every question answered, it's probably not happening. It's just not. You know what I mean? Zion Dan, do you think Piccolo fused with Neva, he'd be stronger he'd be stronger than current day Saiyans? Magic wise, yes, probably not physical. Jim Slim, what if they threw half a fusion bug into Gomah's mouth and have someone like Hibis eat the other half? Hibis connection to the eye saves the day. That's something I would never think of. You're a pretty creative guy, bro.
Yeah.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't be totally against that. Mr. Ekert, I have a feeling the very end they'll show a clip of Gohan deep in his studies, having not even noticed he was turned into a kid again. What do you think about if they do something like that?
I could see that. I could see like, well, the thing is, like we said, there's already so much they have to get through. So like having Gohan appear is already like more stuff that you have to cram into this last episode. But I could see like maybe I don't know, 10-second gag. Yeah, I could see that.
I could see it. Yeah, I would have to be quick. Okay. Justin says fusion name Vegerot. That's what they call Vegito in the Viz manga. So I don't know if they're going to use that again. Yeah. Black Heisenberg. Daima not only makes 100% sense, but it was an IQ test that a lot of the community failed, especially the why wasn't SS4 and Super Spurgs shut up. I mean, it's a question that I get all the time. And maybe we'll get an answer this week, maybe not. Broken Dimensions. What do you think of Z fighters wishing to breathe in space? It's stupid that they can't. In my opinion, deep space fights would be such a spectacle for Dragon Ball. I don't. If that was going to happen, it would have happened a long time ago. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, right? I think so too. I think that now I agree with you. I think that with speaking of vision, I think that's something that maybe you could do, like finally bring these fights out into space, because
like Goku and Beerus did.
Well, here's something that sparked my imagination when I first saw it. Remember in the manga, because I think there's a couple people should crap on the manga, and yeah, I think overall the manga is worse than the anime, the super manga, I mean. However, there's a couple things the manga did better, and one thing it did better was the Beerus versus Champa fight.
That's right, when they're destroying planets. I love that panel.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. The moment where Beerus comes into the planet and he comes into through the atmosphere and then kicks the planet, Champa dodges and then kicks the planet so hard it splits it and destroys it. That sparked my imagination. See, that's the kind of thing that I think that Dragon Ball needs. See, that's new territory right there. That's something that you could maybe do something new and
we should have seen more of that in Super.
And to me, I feel like this is a step that maybe can be taken, right? Because I think there's potential in that. I think there's potential in bringing these fights out into space, because that's new ground right there. But anyway, that's just me.
No, yeah. I've been wanting to see that. I've been wanting to see more fights like that since Battle of Gods.
Yeah, like when I saw that in the manga, it sparked my imagination. I'm like, what else could we do here? There's potential in this.
I told Jay this the other night, man. When you really look back at the Dragon Ball Renaissance, right, starting with Yo Son Goku, going all the way to where we're at now, a lot of it is disappointing. I'm not saying it's all bad, but a lot of it is disappointing because I feel like modern Dragon Ball never really, I mean, it's not going to touch the old stuff, but modern Dragon Ball never really gave us things that not that it promised, but it never really capitalized on Dragon Ball the way it should have. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know what you mean. I think that what it is that it's it obviously expanded a lot. We got the Beerus, we got the Gods of Destruction, we got all this stuff. We got a lot of stuff now. But I feel like it's like a new stuff, but within the paradigm of the old stuff. And I feel like we need to get. I think that at this point we need a new paradigm. We need to really go outside, and I don't know. Maybe that's not possible. Who knows? Maybe I'm asking the impossible. Who knows?
The thing is, I'll give them credit for this. The demon realm is kind of more of what I want to see. Like when I first had heard about them exploring the demon realm, I'm like, that's great. Why couldn't we get that for Universe 6 or Universe 11? Why couldn't they do a similar thing? So I totally get it. So the poll results, do you think Neva dies? 70% say no, 30% say yes. 70% say no, 30% say yes. So there you go. Mitch, Danny, funny thought, Gohan and Videl getting nasty in the exact moment Gomah turns them into kids. Gohan, well, that was awkward. Thank you, Danny. I said that like 3 streams ago, and people thought I was crazy. That very same thing where he's about to put it in Videl, and then the wish hits, and then he's a kid again, and he's like, what? No! So, yeah. Skyrock 1000 and 103 when Goku says the Earth will be safe with Gohan when he's gone. Sounds like Toriyama passing the torch to Toyotaro and entrusting him with the future. I think Toyable ideas will really shine. Well, not all of his ideas are good, but you have to remember, I'm not so sure Toriyama, like, okay, we don't know if Toriyama knew he was going to die. Like, they knew he was sick and he went in for brain surgery and then he died. I don't think it wasn't like he had cancer where, okay, you've got 6 months to live and he passed it to Toyotaro. I think if Toriyama didn't have the brain aneurysm, he'd probably still be alive today writing more Dragon Ball with Toyotaro. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Key Soul Mod. If SS4 power disappears and they ran out of magic, do you think Neva might hint Goku a new way to obtain SS4, or Goku will find a way in Super? Well, I got a video coming out tomorrow about how Ultra Instinct and Super Saiyan 4 could actually work together. There is a way to do that right without it being stupid. So I'll be going into that more tomorrow. But it's going to depend on good writing is what it comes down to.
With the magic of writing, anything's possible.
You're right. That is a fact. Noel says, where the hell is Tarble? Somewhere in space, man. We might not ever see him again. Blood Money. Goku Glorio fusion, creating a fusion with Saiyan and magic abilities to compete against the Third Eye. Remember the reaction to Glorio's magic. Yeah, it's like the Emperor, bro, with the fucking lightning. What do you think about Goku and Glorio fusing?
Not likely. That's kind of what I never thought of it, right? I never thought of Goku and I don't think it will happen. I don't think much of it besides that.
No, I was just wondering because Glorio's now officially picked their side. So Kyle says,
we already knew.
Yeah,
I did. I did.
He's like the Han Solo. He had a change of heart.
And I didn't know, not because of spoilers or anything. No, I didn't need any spoilers or leaks. No, I just watched the show and be like, yeah, this guy's not bad.
Or he is. I thought he was suspicious, but at the end of the day, he would do the right thing. So Kyle says, what if Daima was a way to get around Shueisha, making Daima a reboot of Super? Brother, some of the comments you leave makes me wonder who you're talking to. Like, you're very misinformed on a lot of things, and I'm not saying that to be mean to you, but you're very misinformed. Daima was never supposed to be a reboot of Super. They're two different things. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if you just thought it was or if you were told by somebody on Instagram or whatever, but two totally different projects. Junior says, what's another anime manga that you love to enjoy dissect as much as Dragon Ball? For me, it's Full Metal Alchemist. Also, honey, we got a vigilante here. Execute him. Do you have another anime manga that you like to dissect? I don't know if I have one as much as Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's at the top.
No, they're really, there's nothing that could top Dragon Ball in terms of like analysis and stuff. But yeah, I like to analyze
Vinland Saga. Is that what you were going to say?
Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan. Although I'll say that I'm one of the people that Attack on Titan had one of the most disappointing endings in anime history, at least for me. And
isn't there a movie coming out?
Yeah, but it's a recap movie, so it's not new material. But yeah, like in terms of like, it's obviously Dragon Ball, and then
everything else.
Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan, like those were the ones that I really like to analyze. But besides that, it's not much else. And Attack on Titan, I think, was diminished in its ending. So
my favorite anime is Cobra Kai. That's my favorite anime, bro. Have you seen Cobra Kai?
No.
We have to catch you up, bro. If you like Dragon Ball, imagine a show that was what Super should have been, where you pick up with the characters 40 years later, they all have kids, and now the kids are getting into issues. If you like Cobra Kai is a combination of anime and pro wrestling mixed with Beverly Hills 90210, because they have like relationships and breakups and shit, but they also have like karate. Like it's a shonen, and not only is it a shonen,
it's a live action shonen.
It is, and it's been actually discussed that there were several ideas taken from Dragon Ball used in Cobra Kai. One of the writers came out like a couple days, I think, was it a couple days ago? It was recent. Maybe it was a couple months ago, but it wasn't that long ago, saying that the Tenkaichi Budokai, the World Martial Arts Tournament, was an idea that they incorporated into Cobra Kai, which it's there. And also people switch sides and they go from good to bad. So
you know what really is live action shonen is pro wrestling. That's what really is like that.
You need to watch Cobra Kai, bro. You should watch Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. And then
I saw one. Obviously, I mean everyone did, but
then you need to see Cobra Kai, because the very first scene in Cobra Kai is a flashback to the first fight, or to the last fight in Karate Kid 1, Daniel and Johnny, and then it picks up with Johnny. The whole Cobra Kai thing is basically the redemption of Johnny Lawrence. You know what I mean? Like from his perspective. But Daniel also has a character arc. All the characters have arcs, bro. I love that fucking show. And I got into it last year. Yunnan, what if Frieza learned about the third eye and he somehow managed to get it and combine it with black form? Do you think he would be above Beerus but under Whis? I answered this question the other day. I don't know about being above Whis, but I could see him being above Beerus there. So, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, we don't even really know how strong. Like we don't. I mean, we can guess, but we don't have a definitive. Like we don't definitively know how strong Frieza really is at this point. Like because we haven't seen it. Like we haven't seen him challenge. We haven't really seen him in a struggle. So, you know, I mean, obviously, like when it's this ambiguous, of course, Frieza can be maybe as strong as Beerus, because we don't know really. Like,
Toyotaro said that he wasn't at one point, but he didn't say by how much. So Beerus is obviously stronger in the manga. That's one thing that needs to be made clear, because Goku surpassed him in the anime version. And yes, there's tons of statements about that. I made a whole video on it. True SSJ Havoc said, for the last time, chat, Toriyama doesn't just make random different continuities, and please stop putting words in his mouth. Don't lie on the man. If you're talking about, I don't know if they're lying on me or Toriyama. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's right. I don't understand why they would bring in Toriyama to write a non-canon story. I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility. It's just, why would he do that? Like, why would, you know what I mean?
The way Toriyama's mind works is that this guy, True SSJ, he's right. He's right, because in terms of Toriyama is not some, like, as us as fans, we like to think about, all this happened in the anime, and there was this one detail in this one episode, right, that happened, but that piece of information might not have come from Toriyama himself. To Toriyama, the only things that matter are the things that he was involved in, unless someone else brings it up to him.
Right.
So unless
that's why there's That's why there's confusion about
That's
the
why there's
afterlife.
confusion because
Well, I'm talking about the afterlife is different in the anime than the manga.
right. So like to Toriyama, Dragon Ball Z, that's not what's in his mind. What's in his mind is the manga. That's what's is in his mind, right? So, and if Super has anime elements in it, that's probably not coming from Toriyama. That's coming from somebody else, and that's where people are like, oh well, these are different continuities and everything, but like that's because you're trying to explain this away in a logical thing where this wasn't really thought out. All this was not thought out to begin with. It was
because they don't care about canon. You're gonna have plot holes, man. I'm not saying it's a good thing either. Anthony Parks thinking the anime is better than the manga is crazy. Well, what are we talking about? Super, Dragon Ball? Like, we need a little bit more clarity as far as what you're talking about.
I mean, you can like whatever you want. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's parts of the anime I like better than the manga. Could the Sea of Darkness be explored later in DBS? He's talking about in the third demon realm, the Sea of Darkness. I don't think there's a point to that. I mean, anything can happen. I just don't see what the point would be to explore that. We already left there. Bindle, remember him? What if Gomah uses chopsticks to counter Piccolo? That's a question from 10 years ago, bro. Remember the Quinn chopsticks thing, bro? Wow. Oh, my God, bro. He's taking it back.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Let's bring it on.
I wouldn't either, bro. But oh, my God, the trolling that Quinn got for that, bro. Mostly from Josh. Josh, that was you, bro. Key Soul Mod, SS4 plus UI equals SS5.
Yes.
That's the video I have coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow night, bro. I think you'll like it. So let's see. Do we have any more? Hopefully we're running down here because I want to get these out of the way. Hitesh, Goku's focus should end without Toriyama. Focus? Do Tournament of Power? Do Tournament of the Other Universe? Frieza wins. Bad wish, Goku and company kill him, then after Z focus on Pan. I see. So he's saying now that Toriyama passed away, they should change to a different main character. I don't know if Shueisha has the balls to do that.
Toriyama didn't have the balls to do that because he
tried and then he went back.
He was thinking about it, but I mean the thing about it is that Goku is Dragon Ball at this point. Like you can't. Like he is Dragon Ball. Like if there's one character that represents Dragon Ball, it's Goku, and he's so integral to the whole franchise that having a main story without him is a big ask. Oh, right. I think it's possible.
Big ask, not ass. All right.
Right. Well, yeah, but I mean, I think it's possible, but it's a risk. And once again, we're talking, I was talking about new directions, new paradigms, new visions of what this could be. And maybe that's one of them. Maybe making another character, but the main character is one of them. I don't know. That's a possibility. Maybe. I don't think that's necessarily the path you want to go. I mean, it's a risky one. That's definitely a risky thing because Goku is so integral to what Dragon Ball is. And it is risky.
I would like for them to move on without Goku, especially with Nozawa's age, but would they do it? And I don't know if they would. Goku's just very iconic, bro. Like Goku transcends just manga and anime. Like people who have never seen Dragon Ball have probably seen Goku somewhere. Yeah. He's just like that. He's like Pikachu. Sly Rock, base Vegeta was so strong, he was stronger than Kid SS4 Goku. I wouldn't say that, but I know why you're saying that. He did do well against Gomah, but he had to go to SS3 because he realized it wasn't enough. He appeared in SS3 to be stronger than the non-fused characters in the Buu Saga. Well, Goku and Vegeta have been training post-Buu Saga, so Goku and Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 and Daima is probably... very likely above the Buu Saga Super Saiyan 3. Noel says, what I need is SS4 Goku swallowing the third eye. That's some GT shit if they did that. Havoc says, sorry, Danny, I was referring to Toriyama. Everywhere I go, I see Toriyama said this, Toriyama said that, Toriyama said everything is canon. Yeah, and that's wrong. And I have a bet right now. I've had it for 10 years. If somebody can find me a legitimate interview from Toriyama where he said the word canon, I'll give you $2,000 PayPal.
The best, I think there's I don't even know, but I think there's a quote that in one of the Daizenshus where Toriyama said something about parallel. I don't even know.
He said grand side stories and shit, but the word canon has never come out of his
mouth.
Right.
No. Of course not. Canon is he has never said that, nor has Toei and Shueisha. Like, there's been one official mention of the word canon, and it wasn't even like
it was Viz. It was
Viz. It was debatable. It was debatable on that one thing
because it was Viz.
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly. It was when Gogeta came out for the Broly movie.
Oh no, I was talking about it when they were around the same time. Remember when they were doing the Dragon Ball tour back then, and there was a mural for all the arcs, and it said that the manga was the canon continuation of Dragon Ball. That's where people were like, "Look what it says," but that's what Viz said.
Well,
Jump never said that.
To be fair, you can't take Toei Animation seriously. When Battle of Gods came out, they were promoting that movie as the continuation of the story. I think even the manga or something like that. And then when Super came out, they said the same thing. So
they said Battle of Gods was a sequel to a certain manga chapter. They never. Mm-hmm.
You always have to take these quotes from official sources. You can't just take them as like without thinking about it, because they will happily make statements that contradict each other or not fit together for the sake of promotion.
They do it all the time.
You have to keep that in mind.
Juan, there is a magazine in V-Jump that just came out that said that Gomah is the strongest villain of all time. They say that for every new villain. We know that Gomah is not the strongest villain of all time. We know he's not even close to being on the level of like a Jiren or even a Broly. But they say that every time. And if you're a power scaler and you use that in your argument, you're very, very mistaken.
Promotion.
Yeah.
It's marketing. They're trying to get people to watch the show. And so I don't think you have to be careful with where you get the statements. You have to make sure you understand the context and where it's being said. You know?
Okay, this question right here. Was Daima ever even confirmed to be canon? We just said, nothing's ever been stated. The word canon has never been used by these people, bro. Canon is something that you realize that canon is something that only the English-speaking audience obsesses over, and maybe the Latin Americans to a degree, but they don't care as much. You never hear a Japanese fan talking about canon.
I think when most people say canon, they're talking about Look at this.
Do you think Janemba will be canon?
See, I think when most people talk about canon, they're talking about is this part of the main story? I think that's really what they're talking about. So when they say is Daima canon, they're saying is this part of the Z story that I remember watching back in the day? If that's then yes, it is. It takes place after the Buu saga. That's where Daima takes place. I think, literally,
Daima feels like more of a sequel to the manga, which is why they redrew aspects of the Buu saga in episode 1 to look more like the manga.
Literally 99% of canon questions are literally just that. Is this part of the story that I remember? And it's Daima's part of that.
But it's
story.
Because they don't understand that the Japanese don't care as much.
Yeah. And the answer is yes. Daima's part of that story. Super, even though it has its own problems, is supposed to be part of that story, right? It's supposed to be in that 10-year time skip. That's, I think, to me, that's really what these guys are asking. And as far as Janemba's concerned, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, Cooler might come back at this point. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Scott Slyrock says, Geekdom, make KC blow me for asking that question. I'm not going to make anybody do any of that, bro. There's a guy I remember on Instagram, and he actually made a video about it. This fucking dude was like talking shit about me, just trashing me. This is 5 years ago. And I told him, I said, you can suck my dick. And he goes, is that a rape threat? And he went around saying Geekdom 101 threatened to rape me because I told him to suck my dick, bro. So I guess every time I listen to a DMX record where he says suck my dick, I should be suing DMX for threatening to fucking come on, man. The reach these people. My haters are literally some of the most desperate and stupid people I've ever met. I don't think I've ever met a single hater of mine who actually has a brain. They're all really stupid. Like that, you can tell the way they type, the shit they say. Just they're idiots, bro. Noel says, any word on a future Trunks anime in the works? There is no anime in the works right now besides Daima. Well, Daima's not in the works. So, no, I don't know who told you that there was, but there's nothing. Brandon Hanners, only Oob should succeed Goku as main character thematically. I see why he would say that because of the end of Z. What do you think about Oob being the main character? Would that work? Or are we so stuck on the Saiyans, you know?
I mean, yeah, that could work. I mean, I think that if I'm not a big fan of Oob, but the thing is, Oob, you know, he's such a, you know,
he feels like Goku's sidekick more than like a, you know.
Well, the thing about it is, like, the whole point of the ending was that Oob was supposed to be the next Goku. That's
right.
The point of the ending.
That's what he's saying.
And sure, I mean, could Oob be the next main character if there is one? Sure. That might happen. Sure. What? I think it'd be a tough sell. I'm not gonna lie. That's not like an easy sell. Like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, and it totally is naturally going to go in that direction. No, I think that it's definitely a risk. But hey, you know what? Even though I'm not a fan of Oob, I'd be willing to, like, I'm very interested in a shakeup that I would be willing to give it a chance, even though I'm not really a fan of Oob or the ending. You know,
right.
maybe like, once again, that's a big risk though, because Oob, like first of all, getting rid of Goku and then putting in Oob, very big risk. Maybe
right.
Oob is, like, maybe he'll have to be like a co-main character with, like,
especially since popularity wise, you've got Gohan, Vegeta, and Broly who are more popular than Oob. So I could see people kind of having an issue with that.
No, it would be a very ballsy move in almost every single way, and in like a character way, story way, and even a marketing way. Like exactly what you said. There are so many more popular characters. It'd be a very ballsy move to do that.
CJ the Sasquatch says, do Ku fusion. They run out of chocolate and find Goku's bag of bugs. Ku tries one and throws another at do Ku for the win. That would be something that sounds like something Toriyama would write. Ronwell Nagales says, Black and Fist. I get that about Goku being the heart of Dragon Ball, but if they're going to have Frieza as a final villain, Vegeta needs to Hakai Frieza, in my humble opinion. Goku had his time in Namek and Trunks killed him too. Well, I want to say this before you answer, Juan. I agree with him. Yes, Vegeta should ultimately, to beat Black Frieza, everyone needs to work together. But I think Vegeta should be the one to Hakai him. I totally agree with you because Goku killed him in Resurrection F. Gohan killed him in Fusion Reborn.
He also killed him in the alternate timeline.
Yeah, and Trunks killed him in the main timeline or whatever. So, yeah, I agree. What do you think, though? I mean, I don't think if Vegeta kills him, it doesn't take anything away from Goku.
No, of course, no. Like, Goku being the heart of Dragon Ball doesn't mean that someone else can't have a victory. That's not, right. So yeah, I agree with you.
He's talking about Goku being replaced entirely.
Here's my concern. Like, I don't think this will. Well, I don't know. With Toriyama has always had a track record of redeeming villains. I always felt Frieza should be one of those villains that should never be redeemed.
I agree. He's too evil.
He should never be redeemed. Not only because of the character and who Frieza is, but I also think that we've seen plenty of redeemed villains at this point. And I don't think Dragon Ball needs another one. And yes, I believe that if there's anyone that should put an end to Frieza once and for all, Vegeta is the most appropriate character to do that. I agree.
We're in agreement, bro. Hasta la vista. If Neva dies, it won't be anything malicious like being killed by Gomah, but a self-sacrifice, giving the rest of his power to Goku and company to beat Gomah. How do you feel about that ending?
A self-sacrifice. I mean, yeah, it could work. I don't think it'll happen, but you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it would be something if he did that. Shamar Henderson says, people, please stop talking about Canon. Maybe they're new. Maybe, but I'm going to do a Canon video. I've had it like in the back of my head, but now like I'm going to make a Canon video after Daima ends. That'll clear everything up. It's going to be long though, because I'm going to go real deep like I did your mom. Not you, Juan, theirs. Dorian says, could this be Zeno Goku from Dragon Ball Heroes because the staff and Super Saiyan 4 transformation? It's not the same Super Saiyan 4, bro. Zeno Goku has the GT Super Saiyan 4 transformation. Zeno Goku was stated to be the Goku from GT in an alternate timeline. Dragon Ball fans, y'all got to stop making connections that aren't there, man. Like, Super Saiyan 4 and Daima has nothing to do with Heroes, nothing to do with Battle of Gods, nothing to do with GT. It's its own separate form. It's something totally different. It's
Dragon
not
Ball
the same
Heroes
thing.
is also kind of a mess. Why would you?
It's over now. It's done.
Yeah, but
they ended it.
Like, why would you want to bring Heroes into the main story like that? Like, it's a mess. Like, I think it's a mess anyway. I understand some people might look. I understand some people might like it, but as a story and world and everything, it's a huge can of worms to bring that into the main story. Like, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, but it's definitely never going to happen now because Heroes has been decommissioned. Ramez says, can't wait for Goku to put Vegeta on blast in the finale about the bath times with Bulma. Yeah, me neither, bro. People really love that scene. Red Ghost 312, when Goku brought both Zenus together, I think he means Zenos, the Omni King. The Grand Priest said he would visit Universe 7, still waiting. Well, buddy, everyone's waiting for more Super. Welcome to the club, bro. Let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Sly Rock says, Oob could be part of this reason for them going back to the Demon Realm. Would be an interesting adventure with him discovering more about his origins. Oob is a reincarnated demon, yes, but he's also a human now. So all he has is the power of Kid Buu, but he's not Kid Buu. But I wouldn't be against that idea either. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it would be kind of interesting if Oob was trying to figure out more about why he was reincarnated. Kind of had like it would be interesting if Oob had like an existential crisis, but that's almost too deep for Dragon Ball. And I wish it wasn't. You know what I mean? I wish it wasn't. Casey says, nah, bro, I only asked because I see all Dragon Ball as just another story. I don't believe in canon anything. It's official, then it's official. That's the right mentality. I mean, that is the right mentality. True SSJ Havoc, please let me help with that canon video, please. I've been having a hard time making that particular video. Well, if you're having a hard time, how are you going to help me? Actually, no. All joking aside, I have recorded that video like 3 times. I made one in 2019. I made one in 2022. I deleted them both. I need to start over. And it's going to be hard because first I have to establish where the word canon came from, because it wasn't from the East. It was from the West. It was from the Bible. I have to establish that. And then I have to establish the fundamental misunderstanding that fans have about canon.
You know what's funny? Because I have the same idea for a video. It was I literally
you did one though, didn't you?
I did make one a long time ago, but I felt that video wasn't. First of all, it's old, and I felt like
old.
I could do better. And I literally have the same mindset you did. if I'm going to do this video, I have to first of all establish where it came from, which it comes from Christianity, right? And yeah, I literally what you're saying is I had the same mindset.
It's a hard video to make because there's been so much Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And also the thing about the video that I wanted to point out to people was people really think that like Toriyama, they don't understand Toriyama's involvement in the anime, because whenever I see somebody say, oh, what's canon is Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and then I say, okay, the anime, why is Garlic Jr.? Oh, well, that's obviously filler. Oh, so you said Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Now you're saying, oh no, those episodes don't count. So who said those episodes don't count? Well, it's obvious, they're referencing a movie. That's what I'm saying. The argument ends up being like stupid.
I've seen people do that with Super as well, which is even more ridiculous because at least with Z, we know what material is original and what material was adapted from the manga.
Yes, right. Super's way more convoluted.
I've literally seen people say this episode of Super is canon and this one's clearly filler, so it's not.
And it's just whatever, and it's whatever they say. It's whatever they say. It's not a statement from Toei or Shueisha. It's them.
Think about the methodology.
Everyone has their own canon.
Like some of Super is canon, but others isn't. And sometimes people will try to reverse engineer it by saying, well, if something is in the manga and the anime, we can assume that was in Toriyama's manuscript. So that event is canon.
Not necessarily, because Vegito Blue wasn't, and it's in both.
Exactly. But hold on a second. I completely dispute this whole mentality because basically.
Oh, I do too. I hate it.
Basically, when someone is telling me, okay, we're trying to figure out what's in Toriyama's manuscript, and that's what's canon. So what you're telling me is Super is not canon. It's Toriyama's notes that are canon,
which we've never seen publicly.
Which, by the way, you can say that, like, oh, okay, you can, like, but to me that's ridiculous. Like, okay, now we're saying the notes of Toriyama are canon, but is it? Look at how ridiculous we have to go. Now we're saying the notes of Toriyama are canon.
That's
and no one knows what those are. So, like,
everything you're saying is stuff I'm bringing up in the video. Everything, bro. Like, and the whole like I see it every single day. People asking about canon, and then I respond back with there is no canon, and they get upset like I'm fucking lying to them. Even though I think I might be the only YouTuber who's actually. Well, not the only, because you used to be a YouTuber, bro. You used to be Black and Fist. But, Missed Air Fusion oftentimes doesn't really bring up the word canon either, because, like, it's the tippy. This is going to sound egotistical, but the people who have done their research into Dragon Ball deeply know there's no canon. Anytime I see the word canon, I can already tell that person is misguided. Not saying that they're dumb or stupid, but they're misguided.
No. You know what's funny? Another topic, but whenever people make art videos about a lot of JRPGs, if someone uses the term console style RPG, 99% of the time they know what they're talking about. They absolutely know what they're talking about, because
the PC ones were different.
No, the reason why I say that is because people talk about like the history of RPGs or JRPGs as like a genre when it isn't. It's not a genre. And people will say, oh, Dragon Quest was the first JRPG, which it wasn't.
No.
And what made Dragon Quest unique was that it established a lot of the console-style conventions that later JRPGs used. So when people say console-style RPG, I know they did their research. I absolutely know. Like, I don't know. That's just a tangent. Like, the reason I say that is because when Mr. Gentleman said it, when I first discovered him, I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, instantly, I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
I love that guy, bro. No, but it's funny because, like, I can immediately tell the kind of fan somebody is within the first, like, 10 minutes of conversation. Because if I hear fucking, what was the one? It's over 9,000. Yamcha sucks. Yo, bro, ally to good, nightmare to you. Anytime I hear somebody say that, I'm like, yeah, I know the kind
Piccolo's Gohan's real dad.
Piccolo's Gohan's real dad. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm dealing with. All right. Jay Fires, and this is not dissing, this is just funny to me. My only two problems with episode 19 is the score not as good as episode 18. Well, episode 18 did have a great score. Episode 17 had a great score. I had that final boss theme. We need that epic music. Also, Ep 20 needs to be explained SS4 since Goku did it without Neva. Well, the magic was still inside of him. I already said that in my videos. But I would not expect everything to be explained, man. I wouldn't expect it. You know, I'm just being real with you. We're actually caught up. Oh my God. Remember when Frieza spoke in his native tongue? That was
awesome.
Oh, blah, 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 or some shit like that, right? It was like, and it wasn't, he just laughs in the Japanese one.
That was awesome.
It means I'm going to get you. No, the most awesome line ever in the dub was, okay, I hope the English version.
Okay,
hold on. I hope the English version of Daima has a new music production. Doubt it though, buddy. They're already 7 episodes in. They're using the same music. Like, you're hoping for something that's impossible now, dude. They're already started.
You can make fun of the dub lines, and yeah, a lot of the times
they're
was
funny.
Horrible. A lot of times it was funny, but I will say this: Goku saying to go even further beyond in the dub is legit better than what was in the manga or in the Japanese.
Yeah, but in the Japanese, she said this. It was almost the same thing.
I believe.
If you go back and watch it subbed, it's not exactly, but it's almost the same thing. I think Goku says, I'm going to go further beyond even that. So it's not that different.
Yeah, well, I believe that, let's just say this, the Kai version, I believe the Kai English dub version, in terms of the line, like I
have not seen that yet. Super Saiyan.
In terms of the line they used, and look, I know people like Kai, and I'm not saying Kai's bad for this, but I'm just saying the line they used, which was, and this is a form beyond Super Saiyan 2 or something like that. I'm like, nah. To go even further beyond is you know why to go even further beyond is such a great line.
It's a great line. It's a great line
because
but it's in the Japanese too, bro.
Because that's who Goku is as a character to his core. To go even further beyond.
That is who Goku is. He's done it a million times. What do you think about how Daima kind of referenced that?
I mean,
because it was the same shit. He explained all the forms. Did you like it? I mean, what did you think?
No, of course. I mean, Super Saiyan 3. I know, like watching that whole episode, it almost made me feel like, damn, man, why couldn't they be adults the whole time?
No, I know. I wouldn't have done the kid thing either, bro. I wouldn't have done the kid thing. But hold on. I want to address this. So if there's no canon in DB, then that means the story doesn't matter that much, and you've had a really bad world building. Wrong. Once again, you're looking at it from a Western perspective. Unplug from the dirty lies of the West and look at how the East looks at things. That's wrong. If canon means that much to you, bro, you probably shouldn't be a Dragon Ball fan. How many hats do you have? I have a lot of hats, bro. Go ahead, bro.
The way I would put it is that, you know, let's make it real simple. Like Dragon Ball Z, that's not canon. Dragon Ball manga is canon.
You're going down a wrong. I mean, I know what you're saying, but people will lose their minds.
Right. If there is a canon, if that exists, all right.
Video on this coming tomorrow.
Here's the thing. Here's one thing. In order for there to be a canon, there has to be an authority for there to declare there to be a canon. And the authority is Toriyama, Toei Animation, Shueisha. And since they haven't spoken on it, we can only guess at what a canon would be. And if there is to be a canon, then
buddy. Going even further beyond Super Saiyan.
No, fair enough.
It's almost the same line.
You're right.
I'm not complaining. I love the way they both do it.
No. I agree. They're almost the same. I would argue that the English is better.
I love that.
They're very similar. I'd say the English is still better.
Well,
Still better.
I love Julius's.
You know
Obviously,
why?
I love that
You know
music.
why I think it's better? I think it's better because it's less wordy and simple, and that fits Goku more. That's the reason. It's
No, that's
because
fair. That's
yeah.
fair.
But anyway, to finish
But
the
I
point,
think my theory as to why they changed it to is going even further beyond and took the Super Saiyan part out was to make it fit the mouth flaps. You know what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
mean, it could be, yeah.
That's the way
But
I see it.
but to finish the canon point, to make it as short as possible, in order for there to be a canon, there needs to be an authority. The only authorities are Toriyama,
Hold on
Shueisha,
a
and Toei.
minute. Geekdom getting owned by his guest. Are you must be out of your fucking mind, bro.
We really aren't going against each other.
No,
There
we're
has to
not
be
going against each other,
there
bro.
has to be an
Dumbass.
authority. There has to be an authority. Toei Shueisha and Toriyama never spoke about canon, so the authority has never said what a canon was, so we can only guess. And if there is supposed to be a canon, we would think it's the manga. That would be the canon, right? The original manga, meaning the Z anime would definitely not be canon.
No, but here's the problem, Juan. Everything you're saying makes logical sense, but because people grew up with Dragon Ball Z and they love Dragon Ball Z, they won't accept that. Because our mutual friend Kwame said a long time ago, he said this, man, in 2015, and he was right. People, when they argue canon, argue for what they like. He said if GT was better, they would say GT was canon. People do it all the fucking time, bro.
You're right. You're right. A lot of times, and that's fine if you like these things. See, what you're saying is the things you like, you want them to be legitimized, because for something to be canon, it's to be legitimized.
Right.
And I get that feeling.
I get it too.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, you want your favorite thing to be legitimized, but this thing doesn't exist. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not that. I'm not trying to say that the thing you like is illegitimate. Like, if you truly like GT, sure. I mean,
look at this one, bro.
You
You do know the Dragon Ball artists and creators read our comments. Yeah, bro, they sure do. They sure do, which is why for the past 6 years, the 85 billion people that have replied to Toei and said, bring back Super. Yeah, man, they really do listen to us, bro. They really do listen to us, don't they? Every time they post about Dragon Ball, there's at least 500 people saying, we want more Super, we want more Super. Yeah, man, Toei listens to a bunch of Americans and British people. I'm sure they do.
Sometimes, okay, you say that, but sometimes I do wonder, dude, because like, think about this. Do you remember when Resurrection F was first being teased and people said that looked like evil Goku when he had the instant transmission thing?
Wait, say it again. What happened?
Do you remember when Resurrection F was first coming out and people thought evil Goku was going to be in the movie?
Because of the eye, the
just because
smile,
of that.
yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, this is ridiculous. But the thing is that, okay, we eventually got kind of an evil Goku. And then don't you remember people wanted Bardock and Broly back?
Yes.
And then we got Bardock and Broly back.
But they're popular all over the world, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes I wonder, like, damn. And then people like made the Gohan Blanco meme, and then we got me. Well, so sometimes, dude,
Ioku does his research. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, sometimes I wonder, like, maybe they are listening more than.
Because it's like people have wanted Super Saiyan 4 to come back. I've seen people say give it to Gohan, give it to Broly. Well, it's back. It's not Gohan and Broly, though. But the point I was trying to make by showing this is that I like that the dub didn't change that much, because it didn't. It's just further beyond. That's fine. Trashy J says Omari is saying Super isn't canon again. Again, bro, that's Omari always says that. There's people who hate Super who are saying that Daima is now the definitive canon, that erases Super, and there's people that love Super that say Daima isn't canon. That's what I'm saying, bro. All you motherfuckers arguing about canon has no fucking clue what you're talking about, because you only fucking go with what you like. Well, I hate Super, so I'm just going to say that GT and Daima are canon. Oh, well, I hate GT, so that's not canon. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's all these motherfuckers have done since the beginning of the fandom. It's all copium. Like here's bottom line. Toriyama, Toei, and Shueisha have never used the word canon except for like one time, which I'm going to outline in the video. And that's it. And if somebody can find an interview where Toriyama said canon, I will give you $2,000, bro. $2,000 of my personal money. You know what? Make it 3,000. Let's make it 3,000, bro. So go out there and try to find me a legitimate interview. Don't think you can make some Photoshop shit to fool me, bro, because I've done my homework. It doesn't exist. Gabby says SF3 transformation in Kai is Sean's best performance in terms of screaming. Watch it. It's amazing, and I'm not even a dub fan except the modern stuff. So is he right? Is Sean's performance in Kai better?
Well, obviously his performance overall, I mean, you know,
he got better, but I'm just asking if you thought he was better. Because he did scream his ass off in Z.
I mean, look, man, I'm a guy. Look, obviously, all the actors have gotten more experience. They were better in Kai for the most part. I mean, there's some there's some I don't think were better, but those are I think there's only one example of that. So, but in terms of screaming, and in terms of the Super Saiyan 3 screaming, they're both really good. And honestly, it's a toss up to whatever you like. Like, do you really think he did better in the original? In the screaming department, or do you think that he did better in Kai? It's really a time.
You know what? When we finish the stream, I'm going to watch the Kai one and see.
I personally prefer the original dub,
because of the music.
Well, not just the music, but I really like that performance he gave in terms of the screaming he did for the original dub. So it's a toss up, really. In terms of we're talking about screaming here. Which one do you like more? You know?
I'm talking about a man screaming too. No, here's the funny thing. So I texted Nadolny when Super Saiyan 4 Kid Goku appeared in 18, and I was like, I hope your vocal cords can take it, right? And then after episode 19, seeing that transformation where Nozawa was like, ah! And there's all the colors and shit. I'm like, oh my God,
bro!
Sean's vocal cords, bro. Oh my God.
Nadolny. Let's just say this: Nadolny was one of the best screamers in that dub.
Oh, I'm sure she is, bro.
She was one of the best.
Which, by the way, if you looked at me and Nadolny's text messages, bro.
Oh, okay. But anyway, the point is that
the kind of shit we talk about.
That was, that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with the performance so much, is because listening back, I could really tell. I mean, Nadolny was really putting her vocal cords on the line when she was doing some of that Gohan stuff. She really went all out.
You know what she told me, bro? She thinks that this is her last time ever doing Dragon Ball. I mean, I get why she would say that, though.
Worst case scenario, she'll probably reprise her role in video games. You know,
that's what I told her. I asked her if she was. I mean, if it's NDA, she's not going to tell me. But I did ask her if she was going to do Goku Mini in the games, because in the original DLC, it was just Nozawa. They had for him, but it wouldn't make sense because we're going to get Kid Goku Super Saiyan 1 and 3, maybe 2. I hope all 3 of them. And we're going to get Kid Vegeta. So Paul Castro is going to have to do Super Saiyan 3 Kid Vegeta. And then Sabbath is going to be voicing Vegeta in episode 19. So Havoc says, thank you. I'm tired of people using canon as a quality measure. Stop using it as an insult. I need a new word categorized. Toriyama's definitive story. Well, he's right, man. People, and it's not, I'm not saying it's people in the chat right now, not you guys, but I see it in the fandom all the time. People saying that this is non-canon trash. Well, what if it's just trash? What about canon trash? And don't tell me,
minus.
I was about to say, if you try to tell me, look, I respect Toriyama more than almost anyone. Don't listen to what these Twitter virgins say. I respect, there's very few people on this platform that respect Toriyama more than me. I have done a lot of breakdowns on Toriyama more than anyone, right? On his career, on all his works, everything, right? And I'm telling you, bro, I would have told you already, and that doesn't mean that everything he did was perfect. He does have moments of bad writing. He's a human being, bro. Xavier says, I can't watch Goku going SS3 without SS3 power-up playing. Do you mean the Falconer one? I'm guessing. It's Julius. And Sean's voice cracked too much in the Kai version. Did it crack for you, Juan, the Kai version?
I don't really remember that one. Dude, it's not like the original. I have the original screams ingrained into my head forever.
For
For
Sean?
the Kai version, I don't. So I'd have to go back and listen to it. But yeah, I mean, newer Sean does crack more than older Sean. I mean, obviously
He's an older guy now.
he's an older guy, so I mean that makes sense. But yeah, as far as the music, of course, like, look, man, Kinkuchi's the definitive music for Dragon Ball, but that scene will always be like, for me, Julius Du Bois.
He's amazing.
That'll always be that music for that scene, always for like the definitive music for that scene.
And I've said, and look, I'm gonna make it clear to people, I do not hate that soundtrack. I hate the fact that it's always playing. And that was not Bruce Faulconer's idea. That was Fukunaga's idea. All those guys, Bruce, Scott, they've all said they would have preferred it if they didn't have the music playing all the time. But that's the way they did. So they were getting paid to do it. They did it, right? They're going to follow orders, but it wasn't what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. I actually like that music. Dude, those guys did a fucking live concert on my channel, bro. If you're a fan of the Faulconer score and you haven't seen their live concert, they literally fucking did a new version of the SS3 song called SS 9000, which is actually fucking phenomenal and sounds great live.
I saw it.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't see it. It was because they did it. So they did it during the drought, because last year there wasn't anything coming out for Toriyama's passing. And so they did it during that time. So people really weren't into Dragon Ball at that time. But I go back and see it. Go back and watch it. It's on the channel. Hold on. Fernando says, what if they take Third Eye out of Gomah but eat it? But he eats it, gets a new form, and then Goku and Vegeta fuse to kill him. P.S. Peruvian girls are waiting for you. I don't know what that means. All right.
Do you want them to wait for you?
Hey, I'll take all of South America, bro. So, what do you think about his idea that Gomah eats the third eye? I don't know if it's going to happen, bro.
I mean, why would he need to eat the third eye if he already has it?
Well, he's saying they're going to knock it out of his head. He's going to eat it. But if he eats it, though, how, like, do we know it's going to give him a power-up?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what would be different than using the third eye the way he is than eating it? You know, like,
he's saying that it'll mutate him or something, which, you know, I mean, the idea isn't like it's not a bad idea, but the problem goes back to what I said earlier. And that is, how are they going to fit all of this into 22 minutes? Let's talk about our predictions for the last episode, bro. You go first. What do you predict for Dragon Ball Daima episode 20? I'll give my predictions without giving away what's going to happen, but you first. Last episode this Friday.
People have been talking about Ku and Do fusing. I actually, as soon as I kind of thought that from the beginning too, I think that's the, you know, so I'll say that they're going to fuse. My prediction is not going to be that interesting. Like, so then they beat Gomah. Arinsu is redeemed. Gomah is not going to be redeemed. And they're going to go back to Earth. I honestly, I'm sorry for my lack of imagination, but that's kind of what I like. I don't know what else to say about it.
Look at this, bro. How would Daima continue if Tori was alive? It wouldn't have. This is 20 episodes. I think it was destined to be a solo thing to make GT canon. Daima does not make GT canon, bro. They're two different shows, two different stories. And make us all happy. Well, make you happy, that's one thing, but it has nothing to do with canon. We've already gone over the fucking canon thing. I don't know how many times on this stream, dude. Y'all got to let it go. But hold on. I'm not a Dragon Ball fan, but in fact, the story shouldn't contradict itself. Everything must be consistent. The Dragon Ball franchise has done that too often So that part is important. Maybe to you, but not to them. It might be important to you, but not to them. I'll give you an example of why that mentality doesn't work. Avengers Endgame is an amazing movie. It's not canon to the comic. There is no Avengers Endgame comic. The Infinity Saga is different in the comics, all three of them, than in the movie. Does that mean the movie's not canon? Does that mean the movie's not worth watching? See, it's fucking stupid. You sound like a damn idiot when you obsess over canon. Because how many fucking Spider-Man stories are there? They've explained it as being a multiverse now. That could make sense, but it's dumb to be like, well, everything has to be consistent. I understand why you want that, but there's a word you have to learn called adaptation. They take a comic, they make it into a movie, right? The X-Men movie with Wolverine in it is not canon to the comic. It's not canon to the X-Men cartoon. So why can't Dragon Ball be the same thing? Why can't Dragon Ball have movies, manga, and anime? They're all different. Like, why are people's standards so different for fucking Dragon Ball? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah. I know. I know exactly what you mean, but I understand that, you know, in a basic sense, we want stories. Yeah, we want stories to be consistent. Or
I agree with that. But guess what? They don't care.
I know that's the thing. That's the thing. Like with Dragon Ball, and you know what? Sometimes you can go even back to the original manga. Like there's just some things that, you know, you're gonna have to accept. Basically, like okay, that wasn't, you know, didn't fully. I believe like
I can actually prove that there's only one thing canon in Dragon Ball, and that's the original manga, and I'm gonna do it in that video.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's canon. Sorry, but I mean, that's the way it is. If you really want to get pedantic, which I'm not trying to be, because I like a lot of Dragon Ball that wasn't Toriyama. SSJ level, in your guys' opinion, do you think Dabura would have been stronger than Super Buu or Kid Buu with third eye? I said this months ago. If Dabura had the third eye, he would have destroyed Majin Buu and fucking Super Saiyan 3 Goku. What do you think? Especially now you see.
Yeah, easily. I mean, the amount of power that Gomah got. I mean,
and here's the other thing too. He's got a lot of stamina.
Yeah,
like he's got a lot of stamina, bro. Like he's got a lot of stamina. Here you go, bro. The manga ain't even canon. That's what I'm saying, bro. Who said that? Did you say it?
I said that if there is a canon,
every fucking person has their own idea of what canon is.
Everyone. I said if there is a canon, if that exists, it would be the manga.
But here's
if that isn't the canon, then nothing else makes sense.
It's very egocentric when you say, okay, this is canon. Especially when you know what you're talking about, right? Like, it's very egocentric because it's what you want to be canon. Throwing a monkey wrench in there. What about Jocko? Jocko is a prequel written by Toriyama. Yeah. So it could be. It's a different Toriyama. He was much older, but it could be. But the whole canon thing is like, well, this, and this is canon, but this isn't. And then I could always break that argument by saying, well, what about this? Well, what about this? What about that? And then they're like, so again, you gotta.
Like I said before, the issue of canon is about authority. It isn't about continuity. So what I mean is,
right? That's a great point. That's a great point.
Something like people confuse it a little bit. So for something to be canon, an authority has to say it. So the original canon, for something to be canon to the Bible, the church who had the authority canonized the books. If in Dragon Ball something is to be canon, the authority, who is either Toriyama, Toei Animation, or Shueisha, have to declare that. They haven't. So that means we don't have a canon. However, canon does not mean continuity. There's story continuity, which obviously Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Z have the same story continuity. with each other, and then it gets more complicated as you go into later.
Super
stuff,
makes things very complicated.
But this, like in a very general way, Super has story continuity with like Dragon Ball manga or the Z anime or whatever you want to have it with, or right. It has the same continuity, but canon is an issue of authority. Someone in authority has to be like, okay, this story continuity is now the canon story continuity. This is the canon version of event.
And American, because the Japanese all understand this, but the fucking Westerners, the Americans, the fucking Europeans, it's like, hey, listen, no, they just won't accept it. So we're wasting our time. Xavier said everything that's official release is a part of Dragon Ball franchise, rather if it's good, bad, or not made by Toriyama manga, anime, movies, and games. Well, that's true, but people really gotta let it go, bro. K Cruiser, the fusion bugs somehow end up on Earth. Shin and Kibito accidentally swallow them, fuse again, and that's how they are still fused in Super. I said that months ago when they introduced the bugs, that they were going to do a gag like that, and they could. There are two different continuities between the Super manga and anime. No, there's three continuities. Battle of Gods. There's the movie, the manga, and the anime. Which one's canon?
Exactly.
Everyone in the chat is going to say something different.
And by the way, the Battle of Gods is the source material. That's one thing that it has over all of Super. Like Battle of Gods and Resurrection are the source material that Toriyama was more involved in than either. You can say either the manga or anime. So that almost like, there you go.
That's right. Yeah, and the point is, bro, just enjoy what you can, and just don't overthink it. Okay. Khan, seeing how Group actually did lose a lot of power when they were kids, and Vegeta ended up technically destroying Gomah. Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from with that when he blasted him into the sky. Do you think it takes away from how powerful the third eye is? No, because he survived. He survived, bro. That's why he survived. He's very strong. The third eye is very strong. Lone Wolf, Geekdom is like the college professor. He's strict, but encourages critical thinking for the fans. Yes, I encourage people to think, and I get called an asshole for it. That's the funniest. My YouTube career has been stop being a dumbass and think, and I'm the asshole. I'm the bad person for wanting you to think a little bit more. That's okay. Well, that's your problem, not mine. Juan, what are your predictions for the last episode?
I already said so.
They were. Oh, yeah. That's it. You don't have anything else?
I mean, I don't.
Who's going to be the next Demon King?
You know what? I think Arinsu is going to be the next Demon King.
Really?
Yeah. There you go. There's my prediction.
I thought it was King Kadon.
My prediction is Arinsu is going to be maybe a tweener, like you said. Right, not exactly a bad guy, maybe not entirely a good guy, but kind of like that. She's gonna take that role, and
I did not expect.
And also, Gohan's not gonna show up. How about that?
At all?
Yeah, at all. There you go.
All right,
there you
go. Wherever Goku is, it's canon. Yeah.
There you
Anyways, we're going to get out of here, man. Thanks a lot for hanging out, Juan. I'm going to give my predictions on Daima's last episode. I think there will still be unanswered questions. I think the second half of the episode is going to feel rushed. I'm telling you that right now. I think the fusion's going to happen. I think King Kadon is going to take over the demon realm. That's my prediction. But as far as how they beat Gomah, I think they are going to knock the third eye out of his head. But what's going to happen with the third eye? Like, are they going to, is Neva going to seal it away somewhere? Or, what do you think about that? Because the third eye is dangerous. We know that.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, I don't know. The safe answer is that they just seal it away. But
And also something else people have to get out of their heads, because if people do this, man, you're going to be disappointed. There's not going to be a post-credit scene with Moro. There's not going to be a post-credit scene where Beerus wakes up. Get that out of your head, bro. Just get it out of your head. You're not getting that. Like, you're not.
Well, a post-credit scene with Moro doesn't really make sense.
People, bro, I've seen people say that. Are they going to tease Moro? I had one guy who was like, maybe Neva's going to reveal he's Moro's teacher. I'm like, no, dude, that's not going to happen. Like, don't do this to yourself. Don't come up with these ideas and then get mad when they don't happen. You understand what I'm saying, Juan? Like,
yeah.
Just no, it's not happening, bro. They don't even have enough time, dude. They had one regular sized episode to wrap everything up. So again, I genuinely think there's going to be great animation, but not everything's going to get resolved. Not every plot hole will be opened up, you know.
No.
So, all right, we're done. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Take care. I will say this. I would love it if there was a post-credit scene, but there's not. Tomorrow, right? Not Moro, tomorrow, my video on Super Saiyan 4 and Ultra Instinct making Super Saiyan 5 is dropping at 7 o'clock. And then Tuesday, we should be back with The Mandalorian. So thank you, Juan, so much for stopping by, bro. I got to bring you back more often, bro.
I appreciate it.
We have good conversation. Yeah, we have good conversation, bro. All right, now, what's going to happen first, bro? Is Juan going to upload or is Super coming back? Bro, I think we might see Jesus' second coming before you upload a video, bro.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right, bro. We're out of here. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.